You're watching Capital One Bowl Mania.
Welcome to Montgomery, Alabama, and welcome to the Camellia Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. It is Georgia Southern and Buffalo, two teams with nail-biting wins to clinch bowl eligibility. Two teams who have won this game since 2018. The Eagles and the Bulls both come in at 6-6. Both come in with a chance to finish with a winning record. Good morning from the capital city. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray up top. We'll check in with Lauren Sisler on the field in just a moment. And partner, here we go. This is a big game for both programs, both teams turning it around from last year. It means a lot for both.
Yeah, and the way they finished the season off, too. And then we always talk about bowl season, how important is bowl season. Listen, you get a free trip with your boys during Christmas, have a little bit of fun, play one more game. Like I said, the way they ended their season, the urgency in which they played, I expect the same thing this afternoon.
And, folks, one reason we love bowl season is we get to introduce you to guys like Kyle Van Treese. What a story for the Georgia Southern quarterback. 5 years at Buffalo, now playing his former team.
Well, I just want to make sure everyone realizes this isn't a quarterback versus a certain school in this game here, and he understands that. Like it's Buffalo versus Georgia Southern, but he's had a tremendous season with this new offense, really adapting to it. His ability to get the ball out quickly, his ability to push the ball vertically down the field. We're going to see an awesome passing attack here for Southern this afternoon.
This ain't your granddad's Georgia Southern offense. They will spread it out, air it out. But Kyle Van Treese is facing his former teammates today, led by two of the best linebackers in the country, and Sean Dolak and James Patterson. Not sure if a two-headed bull is like some mythical creature, but this is what they've got. Dolak leads the country in solo tackles. He's a former walk-on from West Seneca in the Buffalo area. And speaking of that Georgia Southern offense, the Eagles won the toss and elected to receive. So we'll see Kyle Van Treese back in the Camellia Bowl, which he won as a UB Bull in 2020. Now on the other side playing his former team. We are underway. Thanks for starting your day of bowl season with us. And the Eagles will start at the 25 following the touchback. And here comes Kyle Van Treese, a guy who should cross the 4,000-yard mark today. He's 99 yards away. This is a completely different offense from what we've seen in the past.
564 pass attempts this season for this offense, which ranks third in the country. Very different than what we're used to seeing with a team that wants to run the football in that style of offense. It's been amazing to see the transformation this year, and we give a lot of shout out to the quarterback, but this offensive line and what they've done, only 7 sacks this year, I think it's a huge storyline as well we'll watch out for.
7 sacks on 580 dropbacks, second best rate in the country. The new triple option in Statesboro is pass, 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 and that's what they'll do on the first play from scrimmage. Van Treese completes on the run to the sideline for a short gain on first down as we go down to Lauren.
Hey guys, talking to offensive coordinator Brian Ellis, let me tell you, he did not hide his emotions when talking about his quarterback Kyle Van Treese earlier this week. You know, the two of them have only worked together for a year. They're only 12 years apart in age, but they have formed an incredible bond. But the one big question that Ellis had was how tough is he? He didn't get to throw the ball much when he was at Buffalo, so he really pushed him as hard as he could, testing him. He's either going to quit or he's going to keep going, and he never flinched. He came to Georgia Southern looking for a chance to change the program around, and much like Ellis, they took a big risk, bet on themselves, and with tears in his eyes, Coach Ellis said, this one, he's special.
That was awesome, Lauren, and that was a completion to Caleb Hood for a gain of 13 and an Eagles first down, and you will see the tempo early from Brian Ellis's offense as Van Treese nearly was picked off on the third pass of the game. Caleb Offord closed in fast, and that's the one problem for Van Treese, who's thrown 15 picks this year, tied for most in the country.
Well, that's a big issue, and he's played great this year, but the number one thing you have to do as a quarterback, we all have to learn this, is take care of the football. Don't put it in harm's way. Don't put your team in harm's way. You're going against a defense that has 24 turnovers this season.
On second down and 10, 4 plays, 4 passes. Van Treese is complete again, moving the chains into UB territory. That's J.J. McAfee, 235-pounder tight end, playing a little wide receiver because they're banged up there.
Yeah, with a little bit of injuries, and he is a receiver body. You know, 6'3", 220, runs extremely well, and right there you get a little bit of a double move, off coverage, and smart heads-up play by him, but just settled there about 10 yards down the field, let his quarterback put a strike on him.
He's put on some weight to play tight end, back in his natural position now. And this time cannot hang on. It was McAfee again as Van Treese throws incomplete. So how about Georgia Southern? 5 snaps, 5 passes.
kind of what we expected.
Yes.
You know, you move guys around, and I love what they're doing with McAfee right now. That is my favorite position in college football, the tight end spot, and how much you can do with these big bodies, these basketball-type athletes in space.
First run of the game for Georgia Southern is stood up in a hurry by a herd of bulls. O.J. Arnold gets the first call for a gain of 2 to set up 3rd down and 8.
Well, and then for Buffalo's defense too, I think the goal is you have to stop the run. You can't give this offense a two-way go. You can't allow them to get going running the football, and then we know what they can do through the air. Force them to essentially abandon that part of their offense.
Early movement. Looked like UB was in the neutral zone, but Georgia Southern jumped. We get our first call from Luke Richards. Luke Richmond, beg your pardon. We'll congregate with the officials.
False start. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's a left tackle, Brian Miller, 6th-year senior from Savannah.
Well, it just didn't move fast enough, and Buffalo did jump, and if the offensive line then essentially reacts to that movement by the defense line while they're in the neutral zone, penalty would have been on the defense side of the football, but just not fast enough at the tackle spot. Allowed Buffalo to get back, and penalty on the offense, creating a 3rd and long situation here.
3rd down and 13 for Vantrease. They set up the screen with Caleb Hood, who set the record for Georgia Southern and for catches and yards this year already. This time he's going nowhere. Stood up after a gain of 4 to set up 4th down and 9.
A good bend but don't break, and now you kind of get a feel for what this offense wants to do. They want to spread you out. They want to mix up the tempos a little bit. They want to move their tight end around. They're going to put their best receiver in the slot, see if they can get him matched up against linebackers and safeties in space.
Anthony Beck will kick it away to Chandler Baker. Beck, one of the best punters in the Sun Belt, averaging almost 44 yards a kick this year. Trying to pin UB deep, and he does just that as the fair catch is made by Baker inside his 10. Folks, don't forget the college football playoff semifinals are Saturday night on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Number 2 Michigan takes on number 3 TCU in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl at 4 Eastern. And it's number 1 Georgia, number 4 Ohio State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Winners play January 9th on ESPN. Get to be that time of year after all the waiting and anticipation. We finally get to see the Final Four. And now we get to see the new UB quarterback replacing Kyle Vantrease this year. It's the Rutgers transfer, Cole Snyder. After 3 years in Piscataway, came to UB, and he has been their starting quarterback. Mike Washington is the running back next to him, and they do give it to the big, burly running back for a solid gain on 1st down of 6.
Oh, you want to talk about a completely different offensive mentality compared to what we saw from Southern. Buffalo wants to run the football. They want to be more physical at the line of scrimmage, and this has been a defense that has struggled through the air and on the ground this year. Can they essentially stay on the field? Can they win the time of possession is going to be the goal for this football team.
On 2nd down and 3, again it's Washington, 6'2", 215 redshirt freshman from Utica, New York. And he is near the sticks, and that's enough to move him. 1st down.
I'm interested to see what Georgia Southern wants to do defensively. Do they add a safety in the box more consistently? Do they leave their corners on an island? Because we're going to see great push over and over again from this very talented Buffalo offensive line. See them working those double teams to the 2nd level.
Motion for UB. Again, they keep it on the ground with Washington. No Ron Cook today for UB, missing his 3rd consecutive game, so we should see a lot of Washington as Dylan Springer, a leader on this Georgia Southern defense, makes the tackle after a gain of 4.
We're talking about an offense that's running the ball right around 143 yards per game, going against a defense that's given up 240 yards per game. So there's nothing wrong with playing this style of football, this keep-away style of football. And if you can wear on a team in the 1st and 2nd quarter, just imagine what you can do there in the 2nd half.
Snyder to throw, and it's complete. Near the 1st down marker at the 30. That'll be enough for a fresh set for UB. A gain of 7 for Buffalo. That's Justin Marshall, Snyder's favorite target, leading the team in yards, the transfer from Louisville.
A nice, easy completion to get things going for this offense, where last game, for those who watched it, had some issues at the receiving position with some drops on the outside. Guys just not really concentrating looking the ball all the way into their hands. Something they've worked on here in the bowl practices.
So the head coach, Mo Linguist, year 2, first bowl game as head coach. Here's Washington again, tunnels forward for a gain of 3 on first down. Let's go back to Lauren.
Yeah, I talked to Cole Snyder yesterday, and he had said it's been such a long time since he had started a football game, going all the way back to high school, playing only sparingly during his 2 years at Rutgers. He said it's been a fun process, settling in, learning the ebbs and flows of the game, and really finding himself, gaining the confidence as the guy under center.
Yeah, Lauren, we talked with Shane Montgomery, the offensive coordinator, as well. He said, hey, when you're a transfer coming in, it can be tough, but Snyder's been great. In the shotgun on 2nd down and 8. Feels the pressure. Snyder throws, and that is nearly taken away. It falls incomplete. A dangerous throw. Marquez Watson-Trent. He have 105 tackles coming in. Almost had an interception.
Well, they're going to bring the corner blitz. You're going to see it from the outside. So as a quarterback, you know you're hot. You got to get the ball out now because you have no protection to that right side. You didn't move the offensive line to that side to pick you up. Would have loved to see him make that pass about a second earlier as soon as the back got into the flat, waited just a hair bit too long to allow the defense to rotate over top.
First 3rd down for UB. Snyder throws. That is caught. And it's another first down for the Bulls as Justin Marshall takes it near midfield. They love getting it to Marshall in 50-50 situations. That was a dart from Snyder.
Oh, that's a great pickup. You're going to see the safety blitz down the middle, and the running back's eyes is on him. He knows he has the 3rd level protection. Offensive line did a great job with the first 2 levels. Defensive line, linebackers, and his eyes were tracking that safety down the middle of the field, picking him up to give the quarterback adequate time to stand in there and throw the ball with confidence to get that first down.
Marshall, a guy, played 3 seasons at Louisville, spent 5 years in the Derby City. He surpassed all his career numbers from there in just 1 season with UB. Now on first down, Snyder looks to throw again. All day, cuts it loose, going deep. There's Marshall, and it's broken up at the last second by Najee Thompson. A great play from the 5th-year senior.
I mean, you could not have asked it for a better play on offense. You got cover 4, you got double post. You see the inside's going to take the safety. Boom, safety's out of it. It's one-on-one with outside leverage for the receiver. The ball is just a hair bit underthrown. Would have loved to see him bring the receiver a little bit more across the field, but great job on defense from Thompson to not quit on the play.
That's a tough assignment, one-on-one. One of the top receivers in the MAC. Got a lot of Georgia Southern fans here. 4-hour drive, 4.5 from Statesboro. As Buffalo keeps it on the ground on 2nd and 10. Christian Varner makes the tackle against Washington, who's been busy on this first drive.
Oh, besides the little, I guess you could call it a little oopsie, almost interception by Snyder, he's looked very confident in the pocket. I think the offensive line here in their first possession has done a good job of demonstrating their physicality up front, their ability to give their quarterback enough time to get through his reads. We'll see if Southern decides to bring pressure like they did on the previous 3rd down, or if they sit back a little bit more coverage here.
And before the 10th play of the drive, a whistle and a timeout taken by the defense.
Charge timeout. Georgia Southern. It's the first of the half.
There is Clay Helton. Yeah, folks, Clay Helton is back from LA to Statesboro. We'll talk about that next. Still scoreless midway through the first quarter at the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama, and that's a familiar face for college football fans. Clay Helton spent 6 years and change as USC's head coach. Got up to a really great start in LA. 2015, he replaced Steve Sarkisian as USC's head coach. It was a blast from the past. Beat Penn State the next year, led by Sam Darnold in the Rose Bowl. He's actually in the top 6 in his first 3 seasons at USC in the AP poll. Ended up getting fired last year and took over at Georgia Southern in mid-November of last season. He had a lot of time to try to turn around this proud program, which went 3-9 last season. They upset Nebraska in week 2 this year. Actually ended up bouncing Scott Frost from Lincoln, also beat James Madison. They come in 6-6 back in a bowl game for the 4th time in the last 5 years. Had a great conversation with Clay Helton this week about how life in LA is a little bit different from life in Statesboro. Play clock at 5 for 3rd down and 8. Cole Snyder and Buffalo's offense. Quarterback with plenty of time now, directing traffic, throws on the run, trying to hit Marshall. It was a low throw, immediately ruled incomplete. A great effort by both quarterback and wideout, but the ball hit the deck.
And it's a great job defensively with the Skies. They're going to go to a cover 2, so you're not really feeling pressure. They're actually going to bring a cross-dog blitz from the 2 inside linebackers, dropping both defensive ends in coverage to replace them. I think messed up a little bit of the route combination on the outside with what they were doing. I think they were looking for a little bit more man-to-man. Love those simulated pressures. You think they're bringing pressure because you see linebackers coming. Once again, they're going to drop out those ends to make it only 4 guys coming at the quarterback.
Now credit Will Harris, the defensive coordinator, as Anthony Veneri comes out to punt. He's got a big leg, a little too big this time, as that one rolls through the end zone for a touchback as Georgia Southern's offense comes back out. And we will step aside and see the high-flying Eagles in a still scoreless game midway through the first.
The Camellia Bowl is brought to you by TaxAct. File for less and get more. And City of Montgomery, the birthplace of the civil rights movement.
And welcome back to the capital city of Alabama. You see the Hank Williams statue right downtown, not far from the Crampton Bowl, where Georgia Southern and Buffalo still scoreless midway through the first quarter. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Lauren Sisler, our entire terrific crew. Glad to be here in Montgomery, bringing you the first bowl game of a loaded day of action here on ESPN. Thanks for starting your day with us. And this is a really good one. And Kyle Van Treese is the main story. Buffalo's quarterback spent 5 years at UB, 3 as the starter. Now at Georgia Southern, facing his old team, and he has ushered in an offensive revolution for the Eagles, a team that was built on the triple option for most of their history. Now they air it out.
I mean, you just go look at their last game versus App State. 385 yards, 3 touchdowns, was absolutely tremendous throwing the football.
This time they will run it with O.J. Arnold, who gets popped in the hole by Marcus Fuqua, the All-American safety, really known as a ball hawk, but he can lower the boom as well.
I mean, you talk about ball hawk, 7 interceptions this season. He is all over the place on that back end, but they do like to get him. They play a lot of single high coverage, and usually he is the one rotating down to that linebacker depth, being able to fill the hole like that to make plays.
He's an awesome player. 7 picks, tops in the country. An AP All-American. Van Treese on 2nd down and 9. Feels the pressure, flushed, and just ices it. Nice catch by Red Hoodie on the Buffalo sideline to bring up 3rd down and 9. Damian Jackson applied the pressure, 38 in black.
That's a great job once again by Fuqua on the back end. He's going to be in charge of man-to-man with the motion player on the offensive side of the football. You see the rocking and rolling by safeties. He ends up rocking down in coverage, locking up the wheel route. And this is when he thrives. 3rd and long situations, he's going to be the middle field safety, just reading the quarterback's eyes, trying to jump on routes.
3rd down and 9. Van Treese again rolling to his right. Again flush, throws, nearly intercepted. In and out of the hands.
And that's why they play defense. And for Van Treese, this is the issue. We talked about at the beginning, their first drive, 15 interceptions this year. Man, you're retreating. You're somewhat thrown across your body a little bit, pressure in your face. Just throw the ball away, punt the football. Like coaches always say, end every drive with a kick. Punt, field goal, extra point.
That was Clevester Hines who couldn't squeeze it, wearing number 9, typically number 13. But it does set up 4th down and a punt. And that was hairy for Chandler Baker, who jumps on top of it near the 45 of UB. After the 35-yard punt, Buffalo's offense back to work. The Georgia Southern offense struggling a little bit out of the blocks. Well, folks, we hope you're having a phenomenal holiday season. Enjoying some football, and it does mean that some teams have to spend Christmas on the road. So what Georgia Southern did this week here in Montgomery after they got in a couple days before Christmas is give out gifts to all 134 players on the roster. Clay Helton playing the role of Santa Claus as Georgia Southern, which has become a very tight-knit group in year 1 under this coaching staff, celebrated Christmas down here in Montgomery.
Hey, listen, it's always fun to mix it up a little bit for Christmas. I know it's a great time to be with family, but the football team, for those who have been in the locker room, is your family. Those are your brothers. So to spend, especially with the seniors and guys that are going to be leaving after the season, this Christmas time, this time for family with them one last time, to play in this bowl game for one last time with those guys is a special moment.
Great play on first down by Marquez Watson-Trent, leading tackler for Georgia Southern. Sets up 2nd and 11 for Cole Snyder and UB. Completes again to Justin Marshall, who's been busy in the first half, and he's twisted down after a gain of 2. Let's go back down to Lauren.
Yeah, and talking on Christmas, Coach Helton wanted to make it really special for his 134 adopted sons on this football team. They got to get gifts 12 days of Christmas, and then on Christmas Day, they got to open all the presents. And he said, you know, it's neat to watch their anticipation and more than anything, their gratitude and appreciation. You know, you put a big bow on the season here, and you get to do it at Christmas time with your brothers.
That was awesome stuff, Lauren. Talking with Will Harris, the defensive coordinator, I asked him which gift was the biggest hit among the players. He said, you know the answer. It was the cash, the stipend check. 3rd down and 9. Snyder feels the pressure and goes down in a heap. The Eagles defense gets home for the first time today. Jalen Jackson, number 40, was in there along with El Hodge Fall.
Once again, we're seeing what do they want to do on defense on 3rd and longer situations. It's bring pressure. We're not going to be the team essentially sitting back. We're going to be the aggressors. We're going to come after it. Every 3rd down so far, we've seen cross-dog blitzes, we've seen safety blitzes, and once again, bring both linebackers to put pressure on the quarterback.
After the loss of 7, Veneri comes out for another kick. Walk-on freshman leading the MAC in yards per punt. Gets it to Caleb Hood, who is dangerous with the rock. Here comes Caleb Hood. Down near the 45. Veneri had to come up to trip him up. And great field position for the Georgia Southern offense.
Oh, he's such a dynamic receiver, and they find creative ways to get him the ball in space. And what better way to get your best playmaker on offense involved in the game than as a punt returner. Long punt, great punt. But when you punt the ball that far, you put your team at risk of returns just like that.
Caleb Hood, a great story, a guy who's had to show the toughness this year for Georgia Southern. Their wide receiver core has been banged up and then some. Down Jeremy Singleton today. Sam Kennerson, Derwin Burgess also been out for a while. As Van Treese completes on the first play of a new drive across midfield to Dalen Cobb, one of the guys we expect to step up due to all those injuries. 1st down, Georgia Southern.
I mean, you look at the last game versus App State, and Caleb Hood and Singleton both balled out, 10 receptions each. Singleton out for this game, so you're going to see guys like that, like Cobb, have to step up and make plays down the field. Van
Treese will throw again. On the run, that's a bullet. Complete to the sideline, and Marcus Sanders. So back-to-back passes to freshman. Cobb from Washington, Georgia. Sanders from Montezuma, Georgia. Brings up 2nd down.
What we've seen from this defensive line right now for Buffalo is the ability to get pressure on the quarterback, and they know the majority of the time this team is going to throw the football, so they're just kind of gearing back, ready to get after the quarterback.
Under 4 minutes in the first quarter. On the ground go the Eagles. That's O.J. Arnold. Damon Williams makes the tackle for UB.
Sorry, Joe. And I know this offense wants to throw the football, and that's their identity, and they've thrown it more than almost everyone in the country this season. But I think if you want to tame this defensive line, if you want to find ways to get your quarterback some more opportunities to sit in the pocket, they have to commit to the run just a little bit more, just like that previous play.
And before the whistle, a flag comes in.
False start. Offense, number 21. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, that's twice for this offense now. They've gone to about the 40-yard line in 2nd and 3rd situations, and they get penalized with an offside start, full start on their side of the football. And it's been a while since both these teams played. Kind of expecting the first quarter, knock some of that rust off.
That was Sanders, one of the freshman wide receivers.
You got Hood, one-on-one, your 3rd receiver in the slot. First man coverage, it looks like.
And again, a whistle before the snap and a timeout defense.
Timeout. Buffalo. It's their 1st of the half. 30 seconds.
Mo Linguist, a defensive guy. Young head coach, only 38 years old. He spent some time at Texas A&M. He was also the Cowboys secondary coach. He was all set to go to Michigan and work on Jim Harbaugh's staff, but then the dominoes started to fall in the coaching ranks when Les Miles was fired at Kansas in the spring. Lance Leipold went from Buffalo to Lawrence. And then UB was in search of a coach. He actually got hired in May of 2021. So last year, what a challenge for a head coach to come in just a few months before the season started. And give a lot of credit to Mo Linguist. In year 2, he's got him back in the postseason.
And we've seen a little bit change up on defense now. Looks like going a little bit more too high. They do not want to get Hood matched up one-on-one with a slot against a nickel.
Hood's in the slot at the top of your screen, and that's where they go, setting up the screen, and this time he is buried. It sets up 4th down and about 7, and maybe a decision here for Clay Helton, kind of in no man's land, but they will bring out the special teams.
I know you may be the biggest proponent of every time you cross a 50 and it's 4th down, you want to go for it. And a lot of times with these analytic books, half the time I'm sure they tell you to go for it, but a lot of it is against your opponent as well. And you're going against an offense that hasn't scored 30 points in the last 4 games of the season. You're going to trust your defense and how they've played so far here in the first.
Anthony back out to punt it away. Again, pinning Chandler Baker inside his 10, calls for the fair catch there. And now let's look at the Bowl Challenge Cup standings, brought to you by Progressive. ACC, interesting to see them at the top of this leaderboard, partner.
It's so early in bowl season. I had a nice little ACC win on this past Friday night. I had the Wake Forest versus Missouri game. Sam Hartman looks like he'll be leaving the ACC and maybe heading to Notre Dame, I heard.
I know you want to talk about that, but who's that at number 8? That's interesting. I thought it just meant more.
It does mean more, but you see there's also nine games left for the big bad SEC to start winning some of those.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time. They will be just fine. So we have a lot of SEC fans watching in Georgia. Thanks for joining us here at the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery as Buffalo back to work and starts with a completion to Robbie Mangus, the tight end, number 21 on 1st down.
Well, I'm just loving from both these offenses the movement of untraditional receiver bodies, so tight ends, running backs into receiving positions, moving those guys out, getting, you think a big body tight end like that flexed out to the field is more used as a decoy. No, not so fast, quick hitch, easy free access throw to be able to get a nice play on 1st down.
Under 2 minutes now in the first quarter. Buffalo back on the ground with Mike Washington, big redshirt freshman from Central New York, in there for Ron Cook. Those guys typically a 2-headed monster, and this is bad news for UB as Washington stays down. Offensive coordinator Shane Montgomery told us he was a little banged up recently, but back to himself now, can make that one cut and go, and we hope he's okay. Young man with a bright future for this UB program. That was his 7th carry of the first quarter for 19 yards.
Yeah, hope he's okay. Leads the team in rushing. 7 touchdowns, 600 yards rushing this year for Buffalo, team that, as we talked about, wants to be physical, wants to run the football. See exactly what happened here. Nice cut, nice vision, and then maybe a little bit rolled up on at the end of the play.
Yeah, tough to tell. Again, he's been dealing with some injuries this year, so Washington back to his feet. Good to see that. The Buffalo fans who braved the elements in Western New York to come down here to Alabama show their support for him.
And a lot of them from Buffalo couldn't even make it down. The
Can't even get to their own driveway.
Yeah, airport, I believe, is closed till tomorrow, so the football team, even after today, has to fly into, I believe, Rochester, then drive to Buffalo from here. So for those watching, hope everyone's nice and warm, a little fire on, and enjoying the game.
You see the Buffalo radio booth, the announcers actually couldn't make the trip. So the announce crew from South Alabama radio got a late phone call and said, hey, can you guys come announce this game? They said, sure. Came from Mobile to Montgomery, and here we are. Mark Anthony Scott, the freshman walk-on, is in there at running back as Snyder keeps it himself. Shows off the speed to set up 3rd down and 3. John Ferguson in there on the tackle for the Eagles.
Well, I asked the coaching staff about Cole Snyder and his ability to run, and yeah, he's athletic, but the words they use is just gritty.
For an injury.
as we see a defender run off the field there. But his ability to get those yards and the competitiveness to not just slide, but go forward, almost dive forward to get an extra yard or two. We've seen it all year from him. And you know, really for him as a quarterback, it's how can we get guys around him to elevate, play at a higher level, to take some of that pressure off him where he's not having to win throwing the football and, as you saw that previous play, pulling it down and being a runner.
Bulls 1 for 3 on third down. Make it 1 for 4 as a convocation of Eagles meets the ball carrier in the backfield. Marquez, Watson, Trent in there first.
Well, once again, third down. What does third down mean? Third down means pressure from Southern in this game, and you're going to see Watson, Trent coming off the edge. 4.5 tackles for loss this season. Adding another one there. And this defense, we're a little bit worried. Would they be ready to go? They struggled a little bit down the stretch. They've come out, again, being the aggressors on that side of the football.
Another punt for Veneri. Hood is back there. It's a low liner. More space for Caleb Hood. Always dangerous. He's down just in front of the 45 as a flag comes in, about 5 yards behind where he was pushed out of bounds. Offense is huddling up around the 25, 15 yards behind where the ball
During the
went down.
return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 6. 10-yard penalty, first down, Georgia Southern.
So the Eagles offense will come back out trying to rev the engine a little bit. It's been a quiet start, 54 total yards for Georgia Southern. They're 0 for 3 on third down. It's one of the most dynamic passing attacks in America. Kyle Van Treese is over 324 pass yards per game, which is third in FBS.
Well, a lot has to go to this defensive line, and we've seen over and over again here in the first quarter, just a little bit uncomfortable in the pocket, being forced to essentially retreat to his right, fall backwards, throw off his back foot, almost threw an interception the previous possession. I want to see him settle down, trust his offensive line, and we illustrated at the beginning of the broadcast, those guys have done great all year, only 7 sacks given up this season, which is a tremendous percentage when you think about how much or how often they're throwing the football.
And the fact that most of those guys were recruited to run the triple option. Great pass protection as Georgia Southern starts with a run, and Gerald Green picks up 1 yard on first down. That will take us to the second quarter. So no points, 6 punts in the opening 15 here in Montgomery. Bit of a sleepy start after an 11 a.m. local kickoff. The Eagles offense will go back to work when we come back. Welcome back to the Camellia Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. And welcome back to the state capital of Alabama, Montgomery. We're about half a mile from the Capitol building here at the Crampton Bowl. And we are scoreless after 15 minutes between the high-flying Eagles of Georgia Southern and the Thundering Bulls of Buffalo. As Caleb Hood can't squeeze the first play of the second quarter. Kyle Van Treese's pass came in a little hot. Marcus Fuqua almost had his 8th interception of the year, tops in the country.
I would say a little bit more than just a little hot, Drew. That ball had some gas on it.
Four-seam fastball.
Yeah, I mean, you got to slow it down. But over the middle of the field, a lot of bodies. Receiver against some contact. Got to put it right on his chest.
On third down and 9. Georgia Southern still looking for their first conversion, and they have it as Ezra Archie makes the grab to move the sticks for the Eagles.
It's a great job working through contact on the outside, too. You're going to see essentially 2 guys covering him, and a lot of times a receiver wants to go over the top of the defender, understanding timing, efficiency, where the sticks are, cutting across his face, and showing his numbers to the quarterback.
Oh, a little trickeration back to Van Treese, who throws up the sideline. That's caught. A big play for Georgia Southern. Bo Johnson on the receiving end after the window dressing.
Oh, I love a good little flea flicker action in the bowl games. You've had time to rep this, watch the film, and you're just waiting for the coordinator to make the call, and it wasn't there. Great job on defense, but Bo Johnson making a heck of a catch. Great concentration.
They go right back to the air, right back to Johnson. The turf monster brought him down inside the 10.
No, the turf monster got him.
Oh, man.
Oh, he was still worn out from the previous play. Beautiful design. They're gonna fake the screen to the outside. You see both defenders coming up, and then man,
he saw pay dirt.
A little too many sweets on Christmas brought him down right there.
The turf monster's still working during the holiday season. But it does set up 1st and goal for Georgia Southern. And Van Treese back in the gun, throws. They set up the screen to McAfee. McAfee battling inside the 5. That ever happened to you, Aaron, where you lay it right on your wide receiver and they can walk in, but they trip up before they make it? AJ Green ever do that to you?
There's nothing worse. I'd rather that than getting tackled at the 1-yard line. I'm like, you're at the 1-yard line. I mean, get in the end zone. Get us a touchdown. I mean, especially, look at the situation right now. I mean, it is not easy to score inside the 10-yard line.
Van Treese, they set up the reverse for McAfee. Again, this guy played tight end for a lot of the season. They're using him in a lot of ways today.
Hey, listen, it looks like for Georgia, people that live in Georgia, they all get this. But it looks like Southern's been watching a little University of Georgia football and seeing what they do with Brock Bowers. Very similar. Great athlete on the outside. Brock gets jet sweeps. They move him to the outside. He's obviously a tight end that can block too. We're seeing McAfee be moved in a lot of situations right now.
Look at this I formation for the Eagles, and that gets blown up in a hurry. Damon Williams comes in to set up 4th down. O.J. Arnold. Check that Tyler Jordan on the carry for Georgia Southern.
Oh, I guess we can see why Southern does not like to get in this formation much this season. It's hard. I mean, you're usually a team that's in the gun throwing the football, and then at the 4-yard line you're going to get under center and I formation. Don't really get the play call there, and we joke, but that turf monster just saved Buffalo possibly 4 points right here, depending on what happens in the field goal.
Alex Rayner comes into the short 23-yarder, and he splits the uprights to put the Eagles on the board first. So Georgia Southern was moving it. They have to settle for 3, but they do take an early lead in the 2nd quarter here at the Camellia Bowl. Georgia Southern strikes first. Camellia Bowl, 3-0 lead after a 9-play, 65-yard drive. In 3:20, had to settle for the 3 after the turf monster tripped up tight end Bo Johnson. And Buffalo will go back to work on offense in front of a pretty big contingent from Statesboro. Clay Helton's Georgia Southern fan base drove about 4.5 hours. A lot of them stopped at Buc-ee's on the way over, I think, and they are here in full force. Walker Bradbury kicks it away for Georgia Southern. Here comes Chandler Baker, returning it from 4 yards deep, and he stopped just shy of the 20. And as the UB offense comes back out, we go back to Lauren.
Yeah, I wanted to give a quick injury update on running back Mike Washington. He got his left ankle rolled up there on the last drive, went into the injury tent. The trainer came out, shook his head, looked at the coaches, giving them the nod. No, went back in the tent with the boot for his left ankle. He came out with a lot of frustration and disappointment as his day appears to be over.
And Lauren, it's a big loss too. Not only missing Ron Cook, also missing L.J. Henderson, so now scratch Washington. Mark Anthony Scott is the running back out there, the walk-on freshman from Port Jefferson Station, New York. And the Long Islander dances ahead for 3 yards on 1st down.
Yeah, Mark Scott got his first action, actually versus Akron. So, you're really going down deep into the depth chart right now with the injuries. And this is the hard part now we're seeing against, for coaches across the country. You're dealing with injuries. You're dealing with kids in the portal. A lot of kids finding some playing time, especially the youth, freshmen and redshirt guys.
Seems like Buffalo's entire quarterback room, aside from Snyder, is in the portal. Another running back again with Scott, and Scott gets drilled after a gain of 1. So behind Snyder, you look at the guys in the portal. Matt Myers has committed to UT Martin. Casey Case has committed to Stony Brook. Brian Plummer still uncommitted. I mean, this is what they're dealing with. So if anything happens to Snyder, it'd be Mike DePillo, the true freshman, seeing his first game action.
It's just this whole new world of transfer portal. It's still mind-blowing to me, and it's unfortunate. There's over 1,000 kids in the portal, A lot of them will not have homes here in the near future, and maybe calling Buffalo back, begging for their job back.
Now it's Tajay Ahmed, the running back. Motion man is Keon Williams. Snyder to throw on 3rd down and 5. That looked like it was deflected but caught near the first down marker. It's going to be close with Marlon Johnson, who climbed the ladder to make the grab.
That's a great pickup up front. We're going to see a bare front from this defense. So one-on-ones on the outside, and a little bit of a safety green dog blitz, but a heck of a job to go up there and catch it at the rim, throw it up for the big guy.
It was 1st down. Buffalo snapped it before the chains could even get set up. Quick tempo from the Bulls, and a solid gain for Ahmed. Will move the chains again. I think it's hard to tell because they weren't set before the snap.
Legal substitution, defense. 12 plays in formation. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
Chain gang couldn't get set. Neither could the defense for Georgia Southern and Clay Helton. And now the Bulls moving at their own 40.
The chains need to get moving once again, and I think they went a little bit up tempo too. Uncertain about the previous play, if it would get reviewed or not, if it was a 1st down. Great job to bring in that tempo.
Snyder after the play fake, throws up the sideline, looking 50-50 ball for Marshall. That's where they like to go, but Najee Thompson broke it up again.
They are just trying, my man Thompson on the outside. That's twice. First time on a post route that he just continued to fight. And this time a little bit of a double move, 50-50 ball against Marshall. And great job going up there and getting his hand in between the ball and the receiver to knock it out. Six is having himself an afternoon.
Marshall 6'3", Thompson 5'11". He's won both battles in this first half.
It's like you going against our boy Rich right now in the booth. I take you every time on that 50-50 ball, though.
He's towering over him. My vertical is poor, though. Here comes Snyder, tucked it, now throws, and that was dangerous. Justin Birdsong starting in the place of Wyland Free, almost had a gift from Snyder.
I mean, these quarterbacks, I don't think they realize that Christmas was a few days ago. They're just trying to give out presents to the defense right now. Both quarterbacks have gotten away with a couple interceptions this game. Tell you what, man, this Southern fan base, I know obviously a lot easier to get here than Buffalo, which a lot of people have struggled to get to with the weather, but they've shown up in a big way, a lot of energy inside this stadium.
3rd down and 10. Southern brings pressure. Snyder stands tall, throws, complete to Marshall. 1st down, UB. Lots of poise from the transfer quarterback, Snyder.
Well, poise, but we're going to see that cross-dog blitz from the inside linebackers once again. Watch this offensive line being able to push it off and just give their quarterback enough time to hit that dagger route about 15, 16 yards across the field. And if you give Marshall that amount of time to run that route, it's very tough for a defender to stay on top of it.
Longest play of the day for the Bulls goes for 16. Snyder held it for too long as Isaac Walker comes in to make the sack for a loss of 1. Lauren?
You use the word poise for Cole Snyder, and that's absolutely the name of his game. Very poised here on the sidelines, very poised when I talked to him yesterday. He's got a toughness and grit about him. He doesn't get rattled easily. They just have to elevate the play around him. That's what the coaching staff has emphasized. Getting him help, the kind of help and protection he needs, and continuing to protect him is going to be important in this situation.
And we also talked with the coaching staff about, the battle between quarterbacks, and they emphasized, hey, Cole's got to remember, it's not him versus Van Treese, as we made the storyline today. Snyder throws, jump ball again, incomplete. That time he was trying to find Keon Williams with Jalen Denton in coverage. Williams, a guy we haven't really mentioned a whole lot today. He's also one of their top wide receivers.
I want to go back to what you said, Drew, because we always do. We do make it a quarterback versus quarterback, almost like they're pitchers in a baseball game. But no, this is a more of a team dynamic game than compared to, say, baseball. So yes, this is a quarterback and an offense versus Georgia Southern's defense. But I do like the way that he's come out there and he's looked extremely poised. I'm talking about Cole Snyder here in this game. Been very accurate. A couple mistakes, but gotten away with them. But overall, a very good half.
He's kept his predecessor on the sideline, too. 10th play of the drive is a 3rd and 11, and how about that throw? That is Keon Williams, Neon Keon, who moves the chains for UB.
That is a big boy throw right there. In the pocket, deep out from the middle of the field all the way to the sideline. And you saw the energy on that football almost continuing to elevate as it got to the sideline. And what quarterbacks are always taught, you throw that ball to the outside. You don't give a defense an opportunity to make a break on it. And you know where I'm throwing this, he's going to catch it, go out of bounds. I don't care. It's a first down. Beautiful timing, perfect accuracy on the throw.
The throw was zesty. And now Snyder will rip it again. Marshall brings it in, sneaks inside the pylon. Touchdown Bulls.
Well, the third time is the charm going against Thompson, and Thompson this time just got fooled. Second time they've tried the double move on him in this drive. First time he did a great job staying on top. That time just bit a hair bit too much. And the ball was thrown. You're gonna see on the outside one-on-one. Little stutter. And he got caught with his eyes in the backfield, staring at the quarterback just a little bit too long. Receiver's able to get on top, locate the football over his shoulder. And another great throw from Snyder.
Barbecued him like the brisket at Dreamland. A 32-yard touchdown caps an 11-play, 81-yard drive. What a throw from Cole Snyder.
We think Buffalo, we think running the football. Their top running back is out. Snyder's showing up, making plays. Great catch. Buffalo takes the lead.
The Camellia Bowl is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Justin Marshall with his 9th touchdown of the season. He had 1 touchdown playing 3 seasons at Louisville. Comes to UB, and he has scored 9 tops on the team, including the first one of the Camellia Bowl to give Buffalo a 7-3 lead midway through the second quarter. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Lauren Sisler back with you from the capital of the state of Alabama. And credit to any Buffalo fans who made the trip from Western New York, considering not just the distance, but the conditions in the Buffalo area right now. Sending our best to everyone braving the elements up north. And Georgia Southern will start at the 25 as we go back down to Lauren.
Yeah, guys, Justin Marshall getting all the love here on the sidelines after that spectacular touchdown catch. But his wide receiver coach, Kevin Sherman, came over to the bench and said, great job executing, great job on finishing drives, great job on third downs. We got to be a little better, though, on first down. Got to take our shots on those first downs. Be patient, stay in the moment, and execute.
Yeah, Lauren, they were 3 for 3 on third down on that touchdown drive, but a lot of them were long third downs they had to convert. O.J. Arnold is the running back next to Kyle Van Treese, and Arnold gets the call and shoots through the middle. O.J. Arnold is across midfield for Georgia Southern. A great start to a new drive, a gain of 29.
Well, there's a lot going. You expect this offense to come out there and maybe throw the football after they just got scored on, and said, run right down the guts for the big play.
Again, the chains can't even get set for Georgia Southern. On first down, another completion to the tight end, Bo Johnson, who's having a coming out party. 4 catches all season coming in. He's got 3 already in the first half.
I love it. Another fake screen to the outside, and very patient for him working the seam.
After the gain of 19, Van Treese in the hurry-up. Again completes up the seam inside the 10. That's Ezra Archie. Van Treese surgical on this drive.
Looks like the offense has woken up the past 2 drives throwing the football. Now it's, hey, can we execute inside the 10-yard line? Previous drive got inside there, got stuffed, forced to kick a field goal.
And now a timeout, Buffalo.
Charge timeout, Buffalo. This is their second of the half. Immediate timeout.
The second timeout for UB in this first half.
Well, they just need to catch their breath a little bit. They're just getting some haymakers on this drive, balls down the seam. And I'll go back to just how the receivers and tight ends are running those routes right now. There's always a sense of urgency to get vertical down the field, but there also, when you watch these guys, there is some patience to it. Reading the defense, showing their numbers to the quarterback. Now it's about finishing inside the red zone, finding a way to get matchup. I'd look right now for McAfee, number 9. They've done a great job moving him around. He's a big body at 6'3". See if you can get him matched up against a smaller defender.
This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. Georgia Southern fans hoping it's not a field goal this time. They did stall out inside the 5 last time. On first down and goal, it's the give to Arnold, and Arnold is wrestled down around the 3-yard line as the Georgia Southern offense tries to come away with 6 here. They've scored on just over 63% of their red zone possessions. They've had a touchdown, which is 5th in the Sun Belt, as you see Brian Ellis, the 34-year-old offensive coordinator.
Yeah, just no more I formation. That's not your identity. That's not who you are. Continue to stay in this 11 personnel, 12 personnel. Open things up. See if you can find a one-on-one or run the ball right down their throat.
Motion man is Caleb Hood. Always a threat, going back and forth. Van Treese looks to throw, floats it toward the corner, incomplete. Think he was trying to find Ezra Archie, who got caught up in the weeds there near the line of scrimmage to set up 3rd down from the 3.
I still want to find a way, McAfee, because the problem with Hood, great in the field, great in space, but only 5'10". It gets a little bit tougher in the red zones when windows are a little bit smaller. You look more for big bodies. And they're going back to the well, though. Here we go. No I formation play for Georgia Southern.
And before they do, timeout Buffalo.
Charge timeout. Buffalo. This is their 3rd and final timeout of the half. It'll be a full timeout.
So Mo Linguist has burned all 3 of his timeouts. With 6:15 to go in the 2nd quarter. So Kyle Van Treese, playing in the same bowl game just with a different team, is making a little bit of history today. Jalen Hurts, the other guy to do that. Peach Bowl with Alabama in 2016 and then with Oklahoma in 2019. This is rarefied air, the only 2 guys to do this since 2004.
Now all he needs to do is, get drafted and be the potential MVP of the NFL.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
the next step.
Yeah, this is, and we're going to see more and more of this going forward. I mean, this is just, I know it seems like a lot. I know it seems like for a lot of fans, this whole portal thing's been going on forever, but we're still in its infancy.
We mentioned the draft for Van Treese. Clay Helton, the head coach, he says, I've coached Matt Barkley, Cody Kessler, Sam Darnold. I don't see any difference here. I think he's an NFL quarterback, Kyle Van Treese. Their offense faces 3rd down and goal. They're just 1 for 5 on 3rd down in this first half. And they pitch it out to Arnold, and Arnold can't get the edge. He lost a yard out of bounds with a herd of Bulls in there on the tackle, led by James Patterson, making his 56th career start today.
And Patterson was flying through the line of scrimmage. You see downhill, tight end's not able to reach him on the 2nd level, and he just comes like a missile to force yet another field goal inside the 10-yard line.
James Patterson solved the mystery of the Georgia Southern offense there. And another short field goal attempt for Alex Rayner.
Good one right there.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd catch that.
Yeah, what about?
First one was 23. This one's from 21. Rayner, the redshirt junior from Kennesaw, Georgia, knocks it through to make it a 1-point game. But the Buffalo defense stands tall again inside the 10. And the Bulls still lead by 1 as their offense comes back out with 5:42 until halftime. (7-6) Buffalo after another short field goal for Georgia Southern. So far for the Bulls, it's been bend, don't break, as the Eagles have been inside the 10 twice. They've had to settle for 3 both times. 2 teams here at the Camellia Bowl who have won this game since 2018. One of these 2 will become the only program aside from App State with 2 Camellia Bowl victories. Walker Bradbury kicks it away for Georgia Southern. Fair catch by Chandler Baker. We'll start UB at the 25. And Friday night, we've got a lot of orange in the Orange Bowl at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Number 6 Tennessee takes on number 7 Clemson at 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the app. not who we thought would be starting at quarterback necessarily, but instead of Hendon Hooker and DJ Uiagalelei, we get Joe Milton and Cade Klubnik. Really intriguing matchup, partner.
Yeah, and Joe Milton, man, I'm so excited to see what he can do in this game. I think a guy with a bright future. You know, stayed the year at Tennessee, learned from Hendon. Coaching staff's really excited to see what he can do as a starter next year.
Cole Snyder back to work for Buffalo. The Rutgers transfer completes in the flat. Big gain on the first play of a new drive. That's Tajay Ahmed out of bounds with a first down for the Bulls.
The best part about that play was Cole's footwork in the pocket and then his eye discipline to get through. It's not easy to get through an entire read, to work the entire field from right to left, and he did that. He went 1, 2, 3. Where's my back out of the backfield? Boom, put it on him. You get to back the ball in space, he's going to make a guy miss just like that.
Snyder finding his groove. This time gives it to Ahmed, and Ahmed is swarmed in a hurry. But Snyder on that last drive, a touchdown drive of 81 yards, threw for 66 of them. Only threw for 35 yards on the first 3 drives combined. He's had an outstanding year, his first as a starter after he spent some time at Rutgers as a backup.
Well, 235 passing yards he needed in this game to get to 3,000. Would be the 3rd quarterback in Buffalo history to do that. Well on his way right now based on what we've seen here in the first half, excuse me. And with the injuries at running back, I think they're going to continue to rely on him to throw the ball down the field.
Play clock is down to 5. No timeouts for UB. Under 5 minutes until halftime as Snyder takes the shotgun snap, scans the field and throws complete short to set up 3rd down and about 4. That's Ahmed, the running back, again involved in the pass game.
Wow, just no pressure right now. Great job. We've illustrated the blitz pickup from this offensive line the entire game, the cross dogs, the safety blitzes. But when Georgia Southern decides to just rush forward, they've done a great job locking those guys up and giving their quarterback plenty of time. And you know, right now at 3:56 to go in the quarter, Georgia Southern's mindset is, hey, if we can get this first down, we can end the first half possibly with the ball in our hands.
Bulls were 3 for 3 on 3rd down on their last drive, and they convert this time. That's complete to the tight end, Robbie Mangus. Move the chains again for UB.
That's a big completion there. Just illustrated why. And all of a sudden the feeling is, okay, we can keep our defense off the field, hopefully for the next 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Find a way to possibly put points on the board, extend the lead as we get going into halftime. But we've seen the previous possession how fast Georgia Southern can move the ball down the field. You want to keep them off of it until the next half.
Snyder throws, completes again. Lots of room for Keon Williams. And there goes Williams inside the red zone. Finally stopped by Anthony Wilson, the safety wearing number 0, but not before a huge chunk for UB, a gain of 30.
Oh, and a great play action pass. Look at all this. The linebackers are literally at the defensive line depth. I mean, they're at the line of scrimmage. Great ride from the quarterback into the gut of the running back to get that suck of the linebackers up, and then it's just an easy pitch and catch on the inside slant there. And man, does Snyder look good here in the first half.
They've got to be careful not to score too quickly and give Georgia Southern a chance. 2:30 to play in the second quarter. Back on the ground with Ahmed. Ahmed fighting forward for a solid gain on first down. El-Haj Fall in there on the tackle for Georgia Southern. And this UB offense has found a nice rhythm here with Snyder. He's been balling on the last 2 drives.
You know, they definitely put the ball into his hands and say, hey man, if we're going to win this game, it's going to be because of our quarterback, and he's accepted that challenge. And you know, right now, Georgia Southern does have a couple timeouts. If they're able to get a stop here on 2nd down, would not be surprised if Clay Helen decides to burn one of those timeouts to see if they can find a way to sneak in one more possession here before halftime.
Buffalo using the play clock. Snyder throws, corner again. Marshall again. Did he squeeze it? Yes, sir! Touchdown, Buffalo!
We talked about these receivers having to make plays for their quarterback, having to catch the football. Had some issues their last game of the season. And I don't think so. Looks like that left foot was on the line. They're going to take a review of that, but still great job going up, falling backwards to make a catch, but I think this one's coming back. Right there. Great effort. I think a beautifully thrown football too, put in a spot for his receiver to go win that one-on-one battle. Thompson did a great job of really squeezing the receiver to the sideline. And just unfortunately not able to get that left foot down for Marshall to get his second touchdown of the afternoon.
Heck of an effort, though.
Yeah. Whew. It's, from our vantage point, a heck of a catch to go up there and snag that thing. And we're seeing what the game plan is, and they're going after Najee Thomas this entire game. That's 4 shots on him. Post route, double move, first 2 unsuccessful. Third one was able to get him on the touchdown, and then right there, one-on-one, using that 6'3" frame of Justin Marshall to go up there and make plays. And this one just, unfortunate left foot was not able to come down in bounds.
Almost had the toe tap swag. That was kind of a Marvin Harrison Jr. type situation where he had to get the inside foot down as opposed to the outside foot. But Clay Helton knows that.
Hopefully we don't have many of those. Hopefully we don't have many of those come Saturday night. Would like to not hear that man's name called. No, I'm not nervous. Give Kirby and that defensive staff and Will Muschamp 3 weeks to get ready.
After further review, the receiver had possession, but his left foot was out of bounds. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be third down with the ball at the 12-yard line.
Well, that's a big play for defensively and Clay Helton too. And we've seen how fast this offense can move down the field. If they're able to get off right now with a third down stop, could possibly save 2 timeouts and give them one more opportunity. But first things first, get off the field right now. I expect pressure, man-to-man defense. See if you can rattle the quarterback.
The Eagles bring pressure. Snyder stands tall, throws. Marshall again has the completion. That'll be a first down. Bulls at the 5 as Thompson pushed him all the way back to the 15.
Oh, they went cover 0, full out blitz, man-to-man on the outside, and same story we've said the entire first half. Offensive line giving their quarterback just the right amount of time to throw that quick 5-yard in route, one-on-one inside leverage. When you play cover 0, you're inside leverage because you have no support towards the inside with the pressure.
And Georgia Southern calls timeout, their second of the first half, before a first down and goal for UB at the 5.
On the TikTok halftime report, Galloway, don't worry about my voice. We're going to get through this. We'll talk about the college football playoff semifinal, strength versus strength, Georgia and Ohio State. Plus, we'll hear from Jim Harbaugh. Galloway will also TikTok his rendition of I Want It That Way from the Backstreet Boys. And Drew Carter will TikTok himself through the halftime hot dog line at the bowl game. Plus, I'll drink hot tea at some point.
All right, Matt, I don't know if TikTok has enough of a time limit for that. 3 minutes might not be enough for me to get through that hot dog line. Excited for halftime here. UB fans have been excited with this first half performance. They've got first down and goal, leading by 1 at the 5. And a short gain on first down and goal for Buffalo. It'll go at the line of scrimmage and nothing more for Tajay Ahmed.
Well, we've seen great red zone defense from Buffalo, 2 outside the 10-yard line. Now it's Georgia Southern's turn to play big on the outside and up front, stopping the run. And right now for Buffalo, it's hey man, we're in no rush, plenty of time. We want to make sure we do not give our opponent the opportunity to score before halftime. But really the matchup, if you want to throw it, it's Marshall in the slot, number 1.
Clock moving, under a minute. Again, it's Ahmed, shoots through the hole. He's in, touchdown Bulls.
You know, they've gone deep into the depth chart, getting some experience with some young running backs. And running backs are a little bit inexperienced at times too with Ahmed, and he's gone in there and wiggled his way for another touchdown.
That's Tajay Ahmed's first touchdown of the season. And what a drive for Mo Linguist Bulls offense. Almost 5 minutes to bring the clock down to 45 seconds in the second quarter. And the Eagles have one timeout remaining.
That's 2 back-to-back long drives.
A further review.
81 yards and then 75 yards. We're going to take a look and see if his knee was up before he crossed the line for the touchdown. But great patience. I think he looks in. We're going to take a look at that right elbow as well. When does the right elbow go down? Well, I think he does a good job staying up, using his right hand to push off a little bit to elevate to get in the end zone. Knees are up. Ball crosses. I think touchdown. Good call on the field. Yep.
Ahmed's a great story. A local product who walked onto the team, got a scholarship at the spring game this year. Now here in the bowl game, as UB's running back room is really dinged up, he's been the guy.
At the further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
So it brings out Alex McNulty for the extra point. Despite the best efforts of Southern fans, they do not block that kick, and it's 14-6 Buffalo. 81-yard touchdown drive, 75-yard touchdown drive. This one capped off by Tajay Ahmed's short touchdown.
They've done a great job of mixing up a little bit and really just putting the ball into their quarterback's hands and then having him go out there and execute, especially on third down. I think that's been the real sticking point in this game, between the offensive line picking up these exotic blitzes and then Cole out there throwing the ball with some tremendous accuracy. Their last third downs, 5 of 5. Started the game 1 of 4, finding ways to stay on the field. You saw 5 minutes of possession there in that last drive, and that's the key right now. Can you win time of possession? Can you keep the powerful offense of Georgia Southern off the field? And they've done that, and they've won in the red zone on both offense and defense, and that's why they're up as we get ready for the end of this first half.
There is Kyle Van Treese. 45 seconds is enough for this offense with him at the controls. One of the faster, more prolific groups in the country this year. And Georgia Southern will start at the 25 with 45 seconds left and 1 timeout. By the way, Alex Rayner, their place kicker, has a career long of 47. Don't forget the All-State Sugar Bowl. It's New Year's Eve at noon Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes in the app, and ESPN Radio with Aaron Murray on the call. Number 5 Alabama takes on number 9 Kansas State in the first ever meeting between these two schools. Should be an entertaining one in the Big Easy.
All right, my eyes on this possession here is going to go to number 10, Marcus Fuqua. 7 interceptions. This is when he finds a way to get around the football.
4 receivers for Van Treese on the first play of the drive. He throws low, right spot for his receiver, Ezra Archie, at the first down marker. That'll move him and stop the clock as they reset the chains.
Well, they're preset defensively into a Tampa 2 look. Those dig routes across the middle of the field are going to be open if you get the linebackers to suck up at all for a shorter route.
30 seconds left in the first half, and that one is incomplete, between the hashes trying to find his favorite target, Caleb Hood.
Well, you're going to have time. They're only rushing 3, dropping 8 in the coverage. I say it looks pre-aligned, extra DB, like a middle linebacker dropping to the middle of the field. Don't want to get beat over top. Still have an opportunity. 1 timeout. Obviously, the clock stops on first down to hit those seams over the middle of the field.
Only 1 down lineman for Buffalo here. As Van Treese completes again. This is short, though. Caleb Hood makes the catch. Not a first down, so the clock keeps moving until Georgia Southern burns their final timeout to stop it at 19.
Charge timeout. Georgia Southern. This is their third and final timeout of the half. It'll be a full timeout. Please reset the game clock to 0-2-0. 20 seconds. 0-2-0.
And it's time now for today's performance update, brought to you by TaxAct. And this really just illustrates what we've been talking about with the changing of the guard for Georgia Southern. We were talking with Brian Ellis, the offensive coordinator. He said, hey, whenever I told someone I was taking the offensive coordinator job at Georgia Southern, they said, you sure about that? Because if you go down there and throw it, it hasn't really worked out for a lot of the guys who have come through Statesboro.
I mean, this is an offense just completely remodeled, and it's amazing to see the success they've had this year, being one of the best passing offenses in the country after what their DNA has been for, you see, the past 4 years. It's all been run, and to see that transformation, especially from the offensive line, to be able to teach those guys in a short amount of time to pass block, this efficiently. And then you throw in there a dynamic quarterback in Van Treese and some really good receivers. It's been a fun offense to watch.
20 seconds left in the first half. Georgia Southern will run it against the Buffalo prevent defense. First down to the 49. The Eagles have to go. That was A.J. Brown on the carry for Brian Ellis's offense, and Van Treese will clock it with 14 seconds left.
And you're hoping right now for these receivers, you have to understand an extra 2 or 3 yards means nothing. Get out of bounds, or even if you catch it over the middle of the field, say you get a chunk play right now, get down, save the clock, allow your quarterback to get up there, clock it, and hopefully kick a field goal before halftime.
It's funny, Ellis, not like a lot of offensive coordinators up here in the box. He's right down on the field and he can talk directly to Van Treese, who throws short again, complete. That's Brown, the running back. This could end the first half as he's twisted down at the 44. Clock still moving, and that'll do it for the first half. So what a start for Buffalo. They hold this Georgia Southern offense high-powered, top 5 in the country in passing yards, to just 6 points. They lead by 8, and they'll start with the ball in the second half. Head coach Mo Linguist has to be thrilled with his team's performance from the opening 30 minutes. Coaching in his first bowl game as the head coach, and Mo Linguist is on the field with Lauren.
Coach Mo, coming off the field after that Tajay Ahmed touchdown, you yelled the words physical, physical. How have you seen your team really step up in physicality, especially in the second quarter?
We talk about having a hard foundation in our program every single day, every single week. Handle adversity, respond, and dominate, and really having that physical mindset, that mental edge that you have to have, playing with discipline in the moment. Really proud of the first half. It's going to take a lot in the second half. We got to regroup, reorganize a couple of things schematically, and get ready for a great second half.
2 big stops for your defense there in the red zone. How can they carry that into the second half?
Yeah, our defense is effort-based. It's built on a foundation of effort, setting edges and having great fundamentals, staying over the top, and knocking things back. And we're really proud of how the guys are playing. Again, we got to regroup at halftime. This is a really well-coached team. We know they're going to come out ready to play second half. We got to take the ball in the second half, start fast, and play great complementary football in the third and fourth quarter.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Lauren.
Drew?
All right, great stuff. Lauren, Mo Linguist team leads by 8 at halftime as we go to the studio for the only halftime show as entertaining as scrolling TikTok with Matt Berry and Joey Galloway as the Bulls lead by 8 after 30 minutes here in Montgomery. Take it away, guys.
Drew Carter, you were too kind as we welcome in.
This halftime report is presented by TikTok. Find what's for you. This halftime report is presented by TikTok. Find what's for you.
This year's MegaCast option is just gluttonous for the College Football Playoff Semifinals MegaCast. Take a look at everything you can watch for both games, Michigan, TCU, Georgia, and Ohio State. In fact, I don't know if it's true, but I'm hearing we might have a MegaCast about the MegaCast. We have so many options, and we have some big news coming out of college football, according to our Pete Thamel. Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman.
Welcome back to Capital One Bowl Mania.
And welcome back to the Camellia Bowl as part of our Capital One Bowl Mania. Back in Montgomery, Alabama, the capital city, where Buffalo has come in and taken a 14-6 lead over Georgia Southern at the break as we take a look at our first half stats brought to you by Dollar General. 176 pass yards for Georgia Southern. Pretty much standard for them, but they've been struggling on third down, struggling to maintain drives. Buffalo just the opposite, 6 of 9 on third down. A nice first half. They lead by 8. We take you to the third quarter. UB's been here for a few days, and the players are letting out the energy. Georgia Southern won the toss, elected to receive to start, so they kick it away to open the second half, and that was interesting to start the third quarter, but it will be Buffalo ball as the kick goes out of bounds and 2 flags fly in. One for the kick out of bounds, maybe one for the extracurriculars too.
Almost made it happen. Little pooch kick over the first line of the kickoff return team, and just maybe about 2 or 3 yards too far. That would be an opportunity for Southern to recover that, to get the ball back here to start the first half or second half. Now all of a sudden you put your defense at
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. 5-yard penalty will be enforced from where the ball went out of bounds. First down, Buffalo.
All of a sudden, let's remember how the half ended for this defense, giving up drives of 81 yards for a touchdown and 75 yards for a touchdown. And then now you give Buffalo great field position, a shorter field to start the second half of play. It was a risk, a little bit of a gamble there, and did not pay off, unfortunately.
That was almost a perfect kick by Walker Bradbury, but instead it sets up Buffalo with tremendous field position at their own 44. The last 2 drives, Buffalo a 75-yard touchdown and 81-yard touchdown. Cole Snyder back to work. He's been dealing lately, and that one was dangerous but caught by Keon Williams. Ball comes out. It is loose, and Georgia Southern has it. Anthony Wilson, wearing number 0 today, picks it up, and on the first play of the second half, the Eagles take it away.
Listen, that play was doomed from the beginning and was just essentially destined to be Georgia Southern's football. A little bit of a lucky throw, doesn't see the corner come off, and Thompson not showing off his vertical at all. Kind of looked like you jumping up for an interception there, but staying alive on defense to knock the ball out and get it back.
It's Chase Dial Watson, 31, who comes in from behind to jar the ball free. And then Anthony Wilson, who typically wears 12. Number 0 goes to one player a game who represents the ultimate teammate, completely selfless and gives relentless effort. Check. Anthony Wilson certainly did that there. And they will check it out.
Correction. Replay has confirmed the ruling on the field. It'll be first down, Georgia Southern.
See, I love that. There we go. Replays at times, for those watching at home will agree with this, get a little bit long. They're seeing it. They relay to him. No need to go under the booth and read it, all that stuff. It looks good. Let's play football.
So Kyle Van Treese begins in the pistol. The former Buffalo quarterback floats it up the middle. It is caught. What a start for Georgia Southern. Joshua Thompson scores. Touchdown, Eagles. First career touchdown for the freshman from Johns Creek, goes for 79 yards.
Big play after big play. I mean, what a start to the first half. First, we get a little bit of a somewhat trickery on special teams. Didn't work out for Georgia Southern. They come back, miss an opportunity for an interception, stay alive, force the fumble, get it back, and then a haymaker on the post route to the freshman, one-on-one. Looked like a busted play-action pass. Quarterback's somewhat leaky to the right. He's able just to throw it as far as he can for the big play.
Georgia Southern will go for 2 to try to tie it at 14. Van Treese rolling right, looking end zone, throws, that is caught. We're tied at 14. J.J. McAfee brings it in, and Georgia Southern starts with a bang here in the third quarter.
Well, Drew, I hope the entire second half is like this. First, short field, it's okay, we'll get a turnover. Georgia Southern gets the ball back for their explosive offense, and all it takes one big play to the freshman over top. Down to the throw. We're tied up 14-14.
And we're back here in Montgomery at the Crampton Bowl. It is now tied up 14-14. And talking to Coach Helton coming out of the locker room, he said the biggest key for them is third downs and finishing in the red zone. Well, 26 seconds into the second half, they did a pretty good job there. They got it done. He said it's all about situational mastery right now. We're in a fist fight with these guys. That's what you expected. It's a bowl game, and two teams are fighting hard for it.
All right, Lauren, what a start to the second half for Georgia Southern. They tried something almost like a quasi-onside kick to begin the second half. They force a turnover on the first play of the third quarter. And then they score on the very next play on a 79-yard touchdown as Michael Lance kicks it away for the Eagles. No return from Chandler Baker, so UB will start at the 25. By the way, the 79-yard touchdown for Joshua Thompson is the longest in Camellia Bowl history and the longest in Georgia Southern Bowl history. It was a punch to the mouth for Georgia Southern. How does Cole Snyder respond?
Well, he needs to keep doing what he's been doing. I thought he's been really impressive, especially there in that second quarter. And on third down, especially crunch time, money down, when you got to make a play, he's been very accurate with the football. And, you know, listen, not his fault. His receiver fumbled the ball there to start the second half. Ball was a little bit risky of a throw, was still able to make it happen. I look for this offense to continue to throw the ball vertically down the field. These receivers are playing great. He's playing great.
Not sure what the stoppage is here.
I think we had someone run the field.
Oh, fan on the field.
Yeah. Drew, get your brother off the field.
Hopefully fully clothed, yeah. Deadlocked at 14 as Cole Snyder goes back to work, and that was a dangerous throw as well. Chase Dial Watson, who forced the fumble, almost had his hands on it, and now we've got a late flag.
It's like possibly hit on a defensive player from Anthony Wilson, number 0. I don't love the call. We'll get another view
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 0, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Our ref straight off the plane from Boston making the call. Yeah, you just can't do that nowadays. Play clearly over. Ball was not caught. Ball's on the ground, and you saw that extra lunge and mistake on the back end from Wilson. And you can hear the boo birds here. Heavy, heavy Georgia Southern fan base in this stadium.
So it's a 1st and 10 from the 40. And Buffalo starts with Tajay Ahmed. Dial Watson makes the tackle after a gain of 8. Ahmed is having a breakout party here in the Camellia Bowl. He had 4 rushing yards all season coming in, but due to some injuries in the running back room, Ahmed's been the guy. He's closing in on 30 yards, plus he has a touchdown today. Right back to 25 in black and blue, who goes across midfield, picks up the first down as Justin Ellis makes the tackle. And now it's starting to get a little chippy here at the Camellia Bowl.
Yeah, everyone was all nice. You know, a couple days after Christmas right now, we're all being friends, but now we got ourselves a ball game. This game historically has been a very close matchup year in and year out, and look like we're gonna get the same thing. Two teams that head into this game, both 6-6, fought their way into it, really want to win it, get to a winning record this year.
On first down, Snyder hit as he throws, and that falls harmlessly incomplete along the Buffalo sideline. Trayvon Locke applied the pressure, and you mentioned how both teams got here. They were both 5-6 going into their final game. Buffalo had to actually make up a game against Akron that had been postponed earlier in the season due to weather in Buffalo. They won 23-22 on a game-winning touchdown with a minute left to beat a 2-10 Akron team, and then Georgia Southern beat App State in double overtime, 51-48 in the final week of the season. Both teams come in 6-6. Second down throw for Snyder, and that is Almost intercepted. Marquez Watson-Trent had it, just not long enough to secure the pick.
And just, you see it, eyes dropping back in coverage. This is a concept they love to run on offense. All it is a spot route by the tight end, and then a curl flat on the outside. Beautifully jumped opportunity, just got to reel it in for the interception.
That's like, what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, we've had a few drops on both teams.
That one was close, too. Too close. Now, it's a timeout, Georgia Southern. I think Clay Helton wants him to take a look.
No, I think they're just having some substitution issues on defense. Guys not really getting on the field fast enough, not getting lined up, and this is an area that they struggled with. Buffalo 5 for 5 at the end of the second quarter, on third down conversions, and didn't really matter the length of the third down. They found ways to get open, especially on some deep sideline routes. I think we may end up actually taking another look at this to see if it was an interception or not.
Replay has stopped the game to review the previous play.
You think that's a Boston accent? Not so
the
sure.
time before he sounded more Boston.
I don't know about that.
All right, so my man's, he's got it. He's got it. He's got it. And then loses it. You got to complete the catch all the way through. Once again, heck of a play. I mean, that's the read, and he knows it. As a quarterback, you're reading inside to out, so you're going to read that tight end, and then you're going to read the squeeze off of that because you have mirrored routes on both sides with hook flats. And he did not see that squeeze. Should have gone out to the outside to the receiver running the hook route. If you see that linebacker coming in on top of the safety, or excuse me, on top of the tight end.
So here's the thing. You got to complete the process of the catch unless you make a football move before you go down. What do you think?
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Replay stopped the game prior to Georgia Southern's timeout. They will get their timeout back. It'll be third down.
So he was going to the ground while he was making the catch, so you got to hang on to it. Watson-Trent almost had his first career interception. Oh, so close.
All right, something to look out for right now for this defense. We've seen it this drive, haven't mentioned it yet, but Mark Stampley, number 22, is now playing to the field corner. We saw Thompson, number 6, play there the entire first half, kind of get picked on a little bit, had some big plays on him. They've made the switch. Number 22 is now matched up against Marshall. We'll see if they try to take advantage of the backup corner.
Freshman from Peachtree City, Georgia, Mark Stampley. That's a tough assignment. Third down and 10. Cole Snyder throws. Marshall has it right at the sticks. They need the 39. Jalen Jackson makes the tackle. That is enough.
They went after 22. Another, we call it like a dagger route, just a 12 to 15 yard across the middle of the field. And you see the respect that he was given on that route. But man, the concentration, the ability to put the foot in the ground, catch a ball that was a little bit behind him. So it's 6'3", lanky, long arms, able to stop on an absolute dime to make the catch. I mean, he right now, if I'm Georgia Southern, you got to put a bump and run, safety over the top. You got to stop number 1.
Marshall up to 7 catches for 90 yards. They go right back to him. He has another one. Out of bounds at the 30 to set up second down and short.
All right, so I said you put 2 guys on him, maybe 3 guys, because right there they did have a safety over top. Stampley's in man coverage, some support over in case there was a go ball, and he just completely turned him around on the quick out route. Right now, Marshall having himself an afternoon. Just really no answer for him on this defense.
Back to Tajay Ahmed on the ground. Wrestled down after a gain of 3. And that's Watson-Trent, leading tackler for the season, came in with over 100.
I mean, this is an offense that just looks so confident right now. And you look back at their last 4 games of the season, only 24 points, 27 points, 27 points, and then 23 points in that win versus Akron to make it to this game. Has not been an explosive offense the last month of the season, but right now they're making a ton of plays, and all this without really their top running backs.
Ahmed again, trying to find the seam. Tough running from the freshman. And Tajay Ahmed is down to make it about 3rd and 3. Anthony Wilson and Kadri Jackson on the tackle of Ahmed, who's in his first year on scholarship, former walk-on from the Buffalo area. This will bring up the 10th play of the drive and another 3rd down for UB.
It's interesting too with Justin Marshall. A lot of times your top receiver, you want to put him into the boundary. A little bit of an easier throw for the quarterback. All these plays have been long throws to the field.
3rd and short, Snyder throws. They set up the screen to Keon Williams. And he is brought down by the ankles by Justin Birdsong.
Got to go for it here. You got to go for it.
And it is 1st down, so no decision necessary for Buffalo and head coach Mo Linguist. And they're hurrying to the line. And a short gain for Ahmed on 1st down. We had a nice conversation with Shane Montgomery, the offensive coordinator for UB, a former head coach in the MAC himself at Miami of Ohio. Montgomery's an experienced guy who coached Ben Roethlisberger at Miami of Ohio. He was the OC from 01 to 04 when Big Ben was there, and really likes this guy, Cole Snyder. It's a question mark about who is going to start. There is Coach Montgomery. Question about who is going to start. Snyder won the job in August. Guy from Western New York transferred back in. He throws again. Marshall can't haul it in. Great play by the freshman Stampley.
It doesn't matter who the corner is. They're just saying our receiver's better than your DBs, and we're going to continue to go towards Marshall one-on-one regardless. And great job. I love the leverage, forcing the receiver on a go ball to commit to the inside where you know you have some support. Very confident play there by number 22, and then going up there and winning that one-on-one battle. I mean, it's a 5'11 versus 6'3", and the way Marshall's been going out there and winning those one-on-ones, Stampley better be ready. It's going to be a long second half for him.
Bulls have converted 7 consecutive 3rd downs. This is 3rd and 9. Snyder throws incomplete. That's great coverage for Georgia Southern. Anthony Wilson was involved to bring up 4th down.
And great job by Tyler Bride, too, number 4, getting his hand in there to knock the ball out for Georgia Southern. Tight one-on-one coverage, really nothing open down the field.
So it brings out Alex McNulty, the MAC Special Teams Player of the Year, first Bull ever to win that award. This will be a 33-yarder. And McNulty nails it. His 22nd made field goal this season, a program record at UB. And it puts his team back in front by 3. 5 minutes into the 3rd quarter, we've got a good one brewing at the Crampton Bowl.
The Camellia Bowl is brought to you by Dollar General. Save time, save money every day.
Back in Montgomery, Alabama for a really good Camellia Bowl. Buffalo and Georgia Southern, one of these teams will finish with a winning record as both come in 6-6. Alex McNulty just nailed a 33-yard field goal to give Buffalo the lead back. 17-14 after Georgia Southern tied it on their first offensive play of the second half with a long touchdown to Joshua Thompson, a 2-point conversion. Kyle Van Treese and company will get the ball back for this electric Georgia Southern offense. McNulty will kick it to A.J. Brown. Great crowd on hand here at the Crampton Bowl. A lot of Georgia Southern fans, but plenty of energy from the UB sideline and their contingent in the stands as well. And the Eagles will begin at the 25. So 1 play in the 3rd quarter, 1 touchdown, a 79-yard strike from Van Treese, the former Buffalo Bull who spent 5 years at the UB program, now playing against his old team.
Well, we've seen in this game how fast this offense can move the ball down the field. There in the second quarter, a couple seam routes, was able to get inside the red zone, still having some issues scoring inside the 10-yard line. And then the previous possession said, hey, listen, let's not worry about the red zone. Let's just score from deep.
Score from the other red zone almost. Gerald Green is the running back. Van Treese throws. It's Caleb Hood on the screen pass. The ball is out. Van Treese tried to recover it, but it belongs to Buffalo. Jalen McNair, the safety, recovers it for UB. A chaotic start to this third quarter.
Just a little bit sloppy start to this quarter for both teams at times, protecting the football. They've tried to run this screen to Hood a few times in this game. This defense has been all over it, and then just great job there by Dolak, ripping it out of his hands. Dolak coming into this game at 90 solo tackles, which leads college football 134 total. He knows how to take someone down in the open field, and then went above and beyond to knock that ball out to get the ball back for his offense.
Yeah, keep an eye on 52 in black and blue. He is an amazing story. Local kid from West Seneca, New York. Started as a walk-on. She had a full ride to play lacrosse at Albany. Decided to pursue football. Son of a coach. And he forces the fumble here, sets up the Bulls in the red zone. And that's Tajay Ahmed. Takes it to the 15 on first down. And again, a little extra after the whistle, and here comes a flag. Both coaches we talked to this week said this one means a lot for their programs, and you can see that with the intensity on the field today.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 33. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 74. Those penalties offset. That is their first unsportsmanlike fouls of the game.
Do you not hear the Boston accent?
A little bit, I guess.
Maybe it's because I was watching Good Will Hunting on the flight the other day. That's just in my head with the accents at the
your
moment.
antenna is up for a Boston accent. How you like them apples?
You like them apples.
So ultimately offsetting penalties against Isaiah Wright for Buffalo and Marquez Watson-Trent for Georgia Southern. Sets up second down and 7 for Cole Snyder and company. It's Ahmed again. More tough running to set up third down and short from just outside the 10. It's a great Georgia Southern red zone defense. They've got the best opponent scoring rate in the Sun Belt, sub 75%, and the third best opposing touchdown rate, sub 50%.
They're going to move right now. They're moving Justin Marshall into the slot. Sure, they want to see if they get him matched up. Also going to tell man or zone. We see zone coverage.
3rd and 3. Snyder keeps it. Snyder with space goes airborne inside the 5. First down and goal, Bulls.
Oh, I love watching the sideline for Buffalo as they get ready to see their quarterback hurdle Stampley one-on-one in the open field. Show you how you get up, big man.
Whoa!
Woo! I think I just tore my groin watching that.
I thought they shut the Buffalo airport down.
Ow!
Nothing can ground air 15. 1st and goal, Snyder back in the gun. This time they get blown up in the backfield. Kadri Jackson came darting through for a loss of 2.
If you want to stop the zone read, what do? You bring 2 defenders to the side of the running back. You load that side up. That way everyone, you have 1 or 2 guys taking care of the running back. You got another guy taking care of the quarterback in case he decides to pull it. Yeah, your 2 top receivers bottom the screen. Marshall and Williams.
Williams in motion. Now a bunch to the top. That's where Snyder looks. Now over the middle. Cole Snyder with time floats it back to the end zone. Too tall. into the Buffalo hospitality tents. He was trying to find Marlon Johnson, the 6'4 junior from Pennsylvania. Here comes third down and goal.
That's just great coverage by Southern there and to the left side of the quarterback. They wanted to run a drag route and then a return route, hoping the drag route would take the linebacker out of position, and then Cole would be able to essentially put it on the receiver's body on the return route. They stayed home on defense. They passed it off absolutely beautifully. Still, Cole finding a way to extend the play. Had a guy open the back of the end zone, just airmailed it a little bit too much.
Jump ball. Johnson again, incomplete. Tyler Bride was in coverage. 5'10 defender against 6'4 wideout. Advantage defense, and Buffalo has to settle for another field goal attempt.
That's a great job once again. This defense has come to play in the second half. Turnover on the first possession. Held this offense to a field goal. Sudden change, had to come back on the field, and then once again holding Buffalo to a field goal attempt. Keeping this football team in the game here to start the third quarter.
McNulty was good from 33 earlier. This one from 23. And the MAC Special Teams Player of the Year adds another to his ledger. So 3 more for the Bulls. Lead continues to grow.
The College Football Playoff Semifinals, Saturday, December 31st on ESPN.
It's almost that time. Can't wait for New Year's Eve. College Football Playoff, Michigan, TCU, Georgia, and Ohio State. Don't forget the MegaCast, the MegaCast. You've got options for watching. I think Aaron Murray is going to hop on Georgia hometown radio, maybe?
No. I'll be in New Orleans.
He's going to be busy with the Sugar Bowl.
I'll be on the flight back to see if I can catch kickoff.
Alex McNulty will kick it away for Buffalo. He's made 2 consecutive field goals to make it a 2014 UB lead. A.J. Brown calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 5, so Georgia Southern goes back to work at the 25. So to recap the third quarter for Georgia Southern's offense, 1 play, 79-yard touchdown drive, Kyle Van Treese to Joshua Thompson. 1 play fumble, setting up Buffalo in the red zone. Those are their 2 drives so far.
Yeah, they need some time. They need to give their defense, who's played well this game and has played well here to start the second half, just a little bit of a breather. See if they can get a nice 3, 4, 5-minute touchdown drive to close the gap.
O.J. Arnold's the running back with Van Treese. Fake it to him, spin it outside. That is caught by Marcus Sanders Jr., another freshman wide receiver. Hey, a lot of credit to Georgia Southern. Piecing it together with a banged-up wide receiver room. We've seen Joshua Thompson score, a freshman. Dalen Cobb's been involved. Marcus Sanders, all 3 of those guys, true freshmen. Back in the shotgun on first down. Van Treese on the ground. Gain of 1, maybe, for Arnold.
Well, and that's the great thing about bowl games is for both these teams. We've seen both teams, and Buffalo dealing with some injuries at the running back position. You're able to get a lot of reps in practice with guys that are either redshirting, freshmen, guys that haven't played a ton of football in their career, to get them ready to go. It's not like a quick week where it's like, hey, you got 3 days to get going. No, they've had enough practices to get these guys ready to go out there and execute.
They faked the screen and completed it to Bo Johnson, who has now matched his season total with 4 receptions today alone.
Yeah, it's the 3rd time they've gone to this fake the bubble screen to the outside. You're hoping to get the defenders to come up, and then you slip 2 guys in the seam, 1 up the seam, 1 on a wheel route down the sideline. 3 for 3 on the play so far.
Van Treese stands tall, throws in between 3 Bulls. Incomplete. He was trying to hook up with Sanders again to bring up second down.
Yeah, just a little bit late on the throw. You know, they try to once again run a wheel route up the sideline. I think he was trying to go for the home run throw. His receiver on an easy completion held the ball a little bit, just a tick too late, allowed the defenders to come in there, and you felt the uneasiness from the quarterback when he let the football go.
Tight set here for Southern. Throwing again on second down, complete. This time he does find Sanders, and the freshman takes it across midfield to set up 3rd down and 3 or 4 as Caleb Offord made the tackle.
Yeah, this is a good-looking freshman too, and Marcus Sanders, 6'3", 195, big body. we're seeing that frame go out there and make plays on this drive right now, and the trust that his quarterback has in the young wideout.
Hood, the motion man. Vantrease fakes it to him. Vantrease keeps and moves the chains. First down, Georgia Southern, as Sean Dolak made another solo tackle.
And this is the drive they wanted right now. Just first downs. Good to see them commit to the run game a little bit too, and not really expecting him to run the football. And once again, where's number 52 making solo tackles this entire season? Just in an era we've seen guys bouncing off, not wrapping up. He is one of the best film studies when it comes to proper tackling technique.
Vantrease with time after the play fake. Time elapsed and he just had to get rid of it. Threw it towards some Georgia Southern fans in the stands. Damian Jackson applied the pressure along with C.J. Bazile.
Oh, they're hoping for a double post on the outside, and no one bid on that. And great hand control and hand strength by the quarterback to hold on to the football, then just get rid of it. But that's a coverage pressure there. Safety did a great job staying on top. Corner did a great job. They got beat for the long touchdown on that same concept. Good to see them learning from those mistakes.
On second down and 10, Vantrease pumps, Vantrease throws. That was dangerous. He was trying to find Hood. 2 or 3 Bulls were in the vicinity, including Clevester Hines.
Oh, they tried the same play they've run into the boundary. So anytime they've been running this concept, so the fake, we just talked about the fake, the bubble screen, and then you get the seam and the wheel route, it's a lot easier of a throw when you throw it into the boundary. You don't give the DBs an opportunity to come up, guard the bubble, and then back up to guard the seam routes. Right there to the field, it's just a long throw, too long of developing, allowed the DB to come back and make a play.
Hood in the slot now. On third down and 10. Vantrease up the middle. Hood couldn't squeeze it. Caleb Hood had it in his mitts. A normally sure-handed target, leading the team in catches and yards this year, and he is still on the ground. For Clay Helton's team, this is one guy they cannot afford to lose. Had it for a minute. Looks like he came down hard. Hope it's just not that head and neck area especially. Devin Grant was there in the coverage. And Hood, not just their best receiver, really the only one they've got left. Hope he's okay. And he's up. He's got the helmet off. Good to see that.
Had a heck of a season. 80 receptions, just under 900 yards.
Both records for this program.
Just been outstanding. So much fun to watch in the slot. And you said it, Singleton, their other top receiver, out for this game. We've seen a lot of young receivers come out there making plays, and they're going to have to continue to make those plays as they look to come back down 20-14 right now. About to punt the ball here midway through the third, towards the end of the third.
On fourth down and 10, Anthony Beck out to kick it away. Chandler Baker will receive it for Buffalo. Evacuates the area and lets it bounce into the end zone. So it'll be a short net punt, a 44-yard kick. And the touchback will start Buffalo out of their own end zone. Well, coming up next, our bowl quadruple header rolls on with Memphis taking on Utah State in the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. That's followed by Coastal Carolina and East Carolina in the Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. And we cap the day with Wisconsin and Oklahoma State in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Another full day in bowl season, all 3 available on the ESPN app so you can watch anywhere. Every program has a different, unique type of story when we get to bowl season. These 2 teams trying to finish with winning records, both in a bowl game for the 4th time in the last 5 years. Both trying to win the Camellia Bowl for the 2nd time since 2018. Cole Snyder back at the controls for UB. Plenty of time. Stands tall, throws. Incomplete. Another dropped interception. That's Jalen Denton, who couldn't come up with it.
Well, we know what they need to do this offseason for our defense. They need to go to the jugs machine and just work on catching. You got a double post with a deep cross to Marshall, and you had him if you would have thrown the ball towards the sideline, obviously a little bit higher too, but probably should have checked it down. But defensively, what are we at, like 4 or 5 right now?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you hear receivers all the time, like, hey, I cut 100 balls after practice from the jugs machine. I think the defenders here for Georgia Southern need to get on it this offseason.
Play clock at 5. Snyder throws 2nd and 10 and spikes that one as he tried to find the running back Ahmed out of the backfield, so it brings up 3rd down and 10.
He looked a little bit angry on that throw, and he should be happy because there's probably been 3 or 4 interceptions that should be on his stat sheet in today's game this afternoon. And luckily there's 0 right now, but you keep throwing it up enough. Eventually the defense will make a play on the football. They've been great on 3rd down. Let's see if they can get it here. Once again, Marshall, bottom of your screen, one-on-one. We've seen him in this off coverage a lot of times, run that big dig route, that dagger route across the middle of the field.
They need the 30. Snyder's looking for Marshall, throws that way, completes that way. 1st down, Justin Marshall. He has been cooking today, over 100 yards.
I mean, first off, beautiful throw. I mean, the ball is right where you want to put it. And look at the intention of the route. That's what I always look for with receivers. Do you make everything look like a go ball? Do you put the defender on their heels? He did that. You saw the urgency at the top of the route.
Back on the ground on 1st down. It's Tajay Ahmed, and by the way, Cole Snyder up to 237 yards today as a flag is on the field. He has crossed 3,000 for the season.
Holding, offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Desmond Bissett, the San Diego State transfer and right tackle.
We've seen a lot of penalties in this game. It's been pretty clean when it comes to that on both sides of the football. I don't know, man. It just feels like this defense is due. They obviously had the big turnover to start the half, forced the fumble, was able to execute, get the big touchdown afterwards, but they just too many times have their hands been on the football without making a play. Just I think they're due at some point here soon.
1st down and 20. Snyder again, clean pocket, completes between the hashes. Short gain for Marshall. Big stick by Kadri Jackson. Let's go back down to Lauren.
Yeah, guys, good news. Caleb Hood came off the field, obviously went down on the turf pretty hard. They took him into the tent to examine him. Trainers came out, gave the thumbs up. He's got his helmet back on the sidelines, ready to go.
All right, good to hear that, Lauren, as Caleb Hood is not only the best wide receiver, but really the only one Georgia Southern has still standing. Marshall, by the way, up to 10 catches for 118 yards. That is a new career high. 2nd and 14 for Snyder. Throws again. 4 or 5 Eagles are in the area. This time no one got their hands on it, but it sets up 3rd down and 14. He was trying to find Keon Williams, the only black jersey, surrounded by 5 white jerseys.
Oh, he tried to fit that one in there. Cover 2 down the seam, but the issue is you have drop-in linebackers that are getting 7, 8, 9 yards in depth. You just got to find the running back, check it down. See if you get to more of a 3rd and manageable situation. Where is Waldo, a.k.a. where is Justin Marshall, is where everyone's eyes will be going on this play once again, bottom of your screen.
3rd down and 14. Snyder doesn't throw that way. Instead, it's Williams who's right near the marker. Great tackle by Tyler Bride to chop him down. I think he's going to be short, and it is 4th down.
Another great throw. I mean, these are tough throws to the field, out routes. You got to make sure they stay to the outside, not to allow the defender to make a play on the football. You see all that space, cover 4 defense. Corner did not come off soon enough.
Oh, here we go.
Smart decision. You're going to see a punt safe.
The Buffalo offense was standing out there for about 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah, not with this offense you're facing right now. Punt the football. Defense has played well. Don't put them in a bad situation.
We got a hustle here with 2 on the timer. Anthony Veneri, the punter, didn't get the snap. And a flag comes in.
Play game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Buffalo is very aggressive on 4th down. They lead the MAC in attempts, conversions, and success rate this year, 22 of 36, over 61%. But Mo Linguist with the ball in his own territory opts to send out the punt unit. And the true freshman walk-on Veneri, who set the Buffalo record for punt average this year, almost 43 yards a kick, to send it to Caleb Hood. Good to see 7 back out there for Georgia Southern. It's a low line drive punt that takes a UB bounce and skips all the way inside the 5. So Georgia Southern will have to go about 98 yards after the 61-yard punt from Veneri. Fabian Veitz downed it.
That's why you punt the ball, Drew. That's why you punt it. Lock those guys back. He doesn't punt the ball high. Doesn't really give his coverage team an opportunity to go make plays. We've seen some good ones, but Kyle Van Treese heading into this little bio on him. Obviously started his career there at Buffalo. This whole new transfer portal world allows guys to move all over the place. Found a new home here at Georgia Southern. You see it. Won this bowl game back in 2020.
On 1st down and 10, Van Treese throws from his own end zone. Incomplete. Good tight coverage as Ezra Archie, the intended target. Caleb Offord was locked up with him. And, you know, Van Treese, again, great story. A guy who wanted an opportunity to throw it a little bit more. I mean, you look at his career numbers for Buffalo, 4,700 pass yards in 3 years as the starter. This year, he's over 4,000 with Georgia Southern. Gerald Green, the running back, they do give it to him. And the junior from Columbus, Georgia, hit hard after a short gain to bring up 3rd down from Georgia Southern's own 6-yard line.
Oh, I know he wanted to throw the ball a ton this year, and he has done that a ton, but you have to, it's so funny you talk about, oh, Buffalo doesn't throw the ball a lot, and you look at the game that Cole Steiner's had today, and you look at the fact that he's thrown for 3,000 yards this season. This is Buffalo offense that has been pretty balanced this year.
3rd down and 6. Van Treese throws. The slant's complete. J.J. McAfee has it along with a 1st down, and a flag comes in. And this could be for targeting.
Well, the fans believe it's targeting. They want him out of here in this bowl game. One-on-one slant with the big body tight end slash, I don't know, it looks more like a receiver to me the way that they've used him in this game. I haven't seen him do a lot of blocking, more route running.
Play is a completed catch for a 1st down. There is no foul for targeting on the play. It'll be 1st down, Georgia Southern.
It's Clevester Hines. Keep an eye on number 9 here.
First shot, great route. Gets vertical, breaks it across. Look at the big body.
And, targeting wouldn't have been on Hines. Would have been on the secondary hit. But no targeting called. 1st down, Georgia Southern.
I think they actually are going to take another look at this.
The previous play is under further review for potential targeting.
Contact to the head or neck area of a defensive player. And you see him going down. You know, at that point, is he viewed as a defensive player? And you see the forearm go to the head of McAfee.
That's Jalen McNair, the nickelback for Buffalo, 28. Is it a dangerous hit involving a launch, an upward thrust, or a severe strike? He did put the head down, didn't make contact with the crown of his helmet, though.
Yeah, I think that the issue is, is the player defenseless? If you deem that he is defenseless at that point, then you look at the indicators of targeting, launch, upward thrust, attacking with forcible contact. It's really, do they deem that as attacking with forcible contact there with the forearm to the helmet?
Right, and you can lead with the forearm or the elbow or the shoulder. It doesn't necessarily have to be the crown of the helmet for it to be targeting. I mean, that's where you get into, it's really hard to be a defender in that moment because you're trained to seek the football. And I mean, at that point, it's all happening so fast we can slow it down and look at it. But at that point for McNair, I mean, He could almost make that motion as he's trying to get out of the way, too. But the play was coming right at him.
Great catch, great throw, got the first down. You know, the thing I don't like is, I know he didn't make contact with his helmet, but he does lower his helmet in order to try and make a play in the football, and then, obviously miss with the crown, but was able to make contact to what is most likely deemed a defensive player at that moment. I don't think it's aggressive. We grew up in the era of the you got knocked out look, and obviously that wasn't that.
After further review, there is targeting defense number 28. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. Number 28 is disqualified.
So a tough end of the season for Jalen McNair, the redshirt sophomore from Durham, North Carolina. What do you think, partner? Would you have called it?
I mean, by the laws that have been set forth, I would deem him as a defensive player, and there was forcible contact made to the neck and head area. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to follow by that, it was definitely a penalty. Do I think it's right? I don't know. Does that play in my mind say that kid should be put out of the football game? No, it doesn't. That is not a play in which I want him to be on the sideline for the remainder of this football game. Last game of the season, it was not aggressive. I don't think there's any sort of intent to hurt the offensive player. It was a penalty, throw the flag, give him the 15 yards, but I don't know. He should still be on the football field.
And Clay Helton is a little perturbed on the Georgia Southern sideline. Typically a pretty jovial guy, so keep an eye on whatever he's upset about. With under a minute to go in this third quarter, O.J. Arnold on the ground. After a long stoppage, he picks up 6 on first down. Clevester Hines in there to make the tackle. Georgia Southern moves quickly. This could be the final play of the third quarter. Arnold again dancing, sifting his way forward down near the 40-yard line. That's where the marker is. And they'll call him just short, set up third down. Georgia Southern can run one final play, and they do. It's Arnold back-to-back carries, and he dives forward to pick up the first down on the final play of the third quarter. So buckle up. We got a 6-point game in the Camellia Bowl. Folks, this game is almost always close. Every year aside from one, this game has been decided by one score. And we could be in store for something similar today. We hope everyone has fun, and we hope for a good game. We've got it as we go to the final 15 minutes. Next. Welcome back to the Camellia Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Back in the capital city where it's 2014 Buffalo over Georgia Southern. A lot of Eagles fans have made the 4.5-hour drive from Statesboro to Montgomery. And their team has a first down and 10 with Kyle Van Treese, the former Buffalo quarterback, against his former team. And he has to throw it away to his former teammates along the UB sideline. Pressure applied by Damian Jackson, 38 in black and blue, who is one of the coolest stories you'll find in college sports. You see him there in the middle of your screen, 38. Hard to miss him, 6'2", 263. On the roster, you'll see grad student from Las Vegas, Nebraska transfer. Dive a little deeper, you'll realize that's a 30-year-old former Navy SEAL playing DN for Buffalo. Empty it out for Van Treese on 2nd and 10. Van Treese throws on the run, incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down and 10. He was trying to find Marcus Sanders. Clevester Hines on the coverage. For more on Jackson, let's go back down to Lauren.
Yeah, Jackson is something special. As you said, 30-year-old former Navy SEAL. He spent 4 seasons as a walk-on at Nebraska, decided he wanted to take one last shot at earning substantial playing time, so he transferred to Buffalo. He didn't want to just be a storyline anymore. He wanted a chance to play. He has meant so much to this team as a guy that understands life beyond what most of us can comprehend and commands an amazing amount of respect, unlike anyone else on this football team.
Yeah, those SEALs are one of a kind, Lauren. 3rd down and 10. Ventris throws. That is picked off. It's taken away by Buffalo. Into Georgia Southern territory. Dylan Powell with the takeaway. Mo Linguist loves it. 25th takeaway of the season for UB, top 10 in the country.
And he almost dropped it there. I was about to say, man, these defensive players for both sides of the football need to get some lessons on how to catch football. But you see the pressure first up front, a little bit of in his face, but dropping linebackers, dropping safeties, trying to force a football on 3rd and long situation. You see everyone about 10 to 12 yards in depth, just really tough angle and not a very easy throw to make for a quarterback, trying to get it up and over before the high safety down the field. Probably should have checked it down or thrown it away.
So Buffalo starts on the plus side of the 50, and they begin with Tajay Ahmed, who picks up 7 on 1st down. And just to wrap it up on Damian Jackson, I mean, the guy never played organized football until he tried to walk on at Nebraska. When he decided he wanted to do something else with his life after 2 deployments in the SEALs, basically wrote a letter to every college football program. Nebraska answered him. He walks on there and now spending his final season of eligibility with Buffalo. Just an impressive guy and a really cool story.
And the coaching's, we'll go down to Lauren for more on that.
Yeah, and Coach Mo says one day he's out on the field picking up all the tape, and next thing you know, he's got 10 guys helping him, and now you'll never see tape or trash out on the field. Once again, it's all about respect. He commands it, and he's really taught his team a different way of navigating life.
Lauren, he actually ran away from you when you tried to talk to him, right? He hates talking about himself.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't like talking about himself. I think he ducked me a few times. I was over at the team hotel, and our friend John Fuller was trying to get me FaceTime with him, and I just think, he didn't want to go after it. But he's a wild guy out here on the sidelines, and you can just see that beard and that hair, and you can tell he's a wise man, and he's been through it.
He has played great today, applied the pressure on that interception for Buffalo. 3rd down and 2 with the play clock under 5. Cole Snyder hands to Ahmed. Ahmed finds a seam and exploits it inside the 25. Justin Birdsong made the tackle after a 1st down Buffalo.
That's a great job of that left side of the offensive line. Wallace right, Hartnett. See that running back, push it, get vertical, get the 1st down. Really the unsung hero for this football team and this offense this afternoon has been those 5 guys up front. And you see Buffalo right now, no urgency to go right now. Let's continue to milk this clock, get some points on the board, make this a 2-score game.
Ahmed had 4 rushing yards coming in. He's above 60 today. He gets it again. And again, found some space down at the 15, just a yard short of another 1st down as Tyler Bride brought him down.
Well, we talk about the identity of Buffalo and what they want to do, and it's been great to see them mix it up a little bit this afternoon, throw the football down the field, win some one-on-one matchups, especially with Marshall Williams, but still, even with the injuries at running back, this is still a team that wants to win the line of scrimmage, wants to be more physical. And that style of football really starts to peek its head out a little bit in the 4th quarter, late in the game, emotional game. See that offensive lineman start to push on that defensive line a little bit more.
Again, the play clock under 5. You saw the time of possession. Buffalo almost doubling up Georgia Southern, and they keep it on the ground with Ahmed. Short gain, but enough for a 1st down. Helmet came flying. Parker Devine and Kadri Jackson in on the tackle of Ahmed, the former walk-on, the senior from Lockport, New York. Remember, no Ron Cook, who's missed the last couple of games for Buffalo. No Mike Washington, who left this one early with an ankle injury. No Al-J Henderson. Buffalo scraping the depth chart here, as a lot of teams do in bowl season. First down and 10. Again, it's Ahmed. They ride 25. Ahmed dancing through down at the 2-yard line. He had 90 career rush yards coming in. He's approaching that today.
Oh, the senior going out in a big way right now, and look at the blitz pickup, and look at those double teams getting all the way to the second level, 5-6 yards past the line of scrimmage to give Ahmed that running lane. And you know, the one thing is these running backs are fresh. They haven't played a lot this year. Fresh legs, haven't been beat up too much, and right now you're seeing that healthy legs, being able to continue to push behind that offensive line to get those extra yards.
First down and goal. Ahmed evaded the first defender. That was Anthony Wilson. Back near the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1 to set up second down and goal.
Yeah, and right now for Georgia Southern, we're selling out. We're bringing the heat. We're going to bring 9 defenders, stack them inside the box. We're going to leave our corners one-on-one on the outside and find a way to stop the run. And you see Buffalo right now bringing in an extra offensive lineman into the game. Don Palazzo, number 66, gets some more beef up front.
Right back to Ahmed. Ahmed fighting, won't get there. Jalen Jackson, number 40, in there first. Marquez Watson-Trent helped him out.
Great tackle. Talking about the offense line, recreating the line of scrimmage right there. Defense got a good jump on the snap. Able to force the running back to go side to side. That's exactly what you want in these situations. 1 to 2 yards to gain. If you can make that running back, instead of going north and south, go east to west, allow those linebackers and safeties to fill.
Williams in motion. Back to Ahmed. Up the gut. He won't get there. And the Georgia Southern defense stands tall inside the 5 again. Anthony Wilson made the stop.
Oh, it's all out. We're bringing everyone. And Big 99 doing a great job. Smith, 325 pounds, getting into the backfield once again, making the running back go north, east and west of north and south. It's a huge stop. Right now we may see a little bit of record-breaking action right here if this field goal goes through.
It's a 20-yarder for McNulty. It would be his 49th career-made field goal. This would be a program record. And he's got it. So step aside, Adam Mitchison, 2015 to 2018 UB kicker. McNulty now stands alone on top of the leaderboard. There is a flag at the 2-yard line as both teams exchange holiday pleasantries. Let's wait for the call from Luke Richmond, former UConn quarterback, native of Ansonia, Connecticut, in the New Haven area. Same hometown as Stanford Steve of SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. Shout out Stanford Steve. Tight end's always open.
The field goal is good. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 69. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 53. That is their first unsportsmanlike fouls of the game. Immediate timeout.
Gabe Wallace for Buffalo, Trayvon Locke for Georgia Southern. 23-14, UB up by 2 scores as Kyle Van Treese and co. go back to work. (23-14) Buffalo on top of Clay Helton's Georgia Southern team. Let's take a look at today's clutch delivery brought to you by Chipotle.
Why they call you Jet?
I'm fast and explosive.
Yeah, baby.
You already know.
Let's go.
That, folks, is why you mic up coach's pregame. Worked out perfectly. Clay Helton, a guy who's back home down south, son of a coach, Kim Helton, moved around a little bit as a kid, but went to college in Auburn, and certainly a Southern boy at heart. Spent some time at USC, 6 years plus as the head coach. He says, my commute living in LA was over an hour. My commute in Statesboro is 2 country songs and a cup of coffee. His team trails by 9 as Alex McNulty, who's 3 for 3 on field goals today for UB, kicks it deep to A.J. Brown, who fields it inside his 5 and takes it out toward the 20 with a flag coming down at the 30-yard line between the hashes. So before Kyle Van Treese takes over, we will check the penalty. Luke Richmond and company talking about their favorite New Haven pizza joint, no doubt. Here comes the Ansonia native.
During the return, personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Receiving team, number 30. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Georgia Southern.
Let's go back to the studio.
Okay, Drew, Serve Pro First Responder Bowl between Memphis and Utah State. We're going to start that game over on ESPN2. ESPN2 will move that over. I'm being told Modern Pizza is the best pie in New Haven. Take that for what you will.
Matt Barry with a take spicier than the meatball parm over at Modern Pizza. But I actually think that's a pretty good call. Everyone will say Pepe's or Sally's. Modern's where it's at. Just don't get the mashed potato pie at Bar Pizza. Aaron Murray has no idea what I'm talking about as it's first down and 10 for Georgia Southern. O.J. Arnold with a carry.
It sounds good, you know,
good.
Nice piece of pizza right now. Right now for this offense, you know, we've seen the explosive plays. We've seen the lack of consistency in the red zone. Want to see him take some chances.
Van Treese, a jump pass. Arnold out of the backfield. Nice open field tackle for Buffalo made by Clevester Hines, who's had an outstanding game today.
Oh, we've seen this defense say enough is enough of the fake swing to the outside verticals from the 2 receivers. They got hit on it 3 or 4 times early in the game, have then since stopped it 2 times in a row. Defensive players doing a great job saying, listen, we'll give up the short route. We're fine with that check down. We'll rally and make the tackle.
Five of 12 on third down today. Van Treese throws out route complete. Caleb Hood should have enough for a first down. He made it right to the sticks, and he moved the chains.
That's a great adjustment in air. Good to see him. Obviously healthy. Was banged up a little bit on a third down play. We'll see if they can find a way to get him down the field on an explosive play.
Again, it is Arnold out of the backfield. Fights forward for a gain of 5 on first down. Let's go back down to Lauren.
Guys, we know Kyle Van Treese has a unique story, and he told me this is really like the perfect storybook ending to his career, finishing his career against the team that he played for 5 years, against some of his former teammates. And he still called up his brothers, was walking around at the hotel, and he said it was a little awkward at first, a little weird, but it's so exciting to see them again and have the opportunity now to play against them. Of course, a storybook ending would be coming out here, scoring, and getting the win.
Yeah, Lauren, and their offensive coordinator, Brian Ellis, who feels so strongly about Kyle Van Treese, said, we're going to make a movie about this kid someday. You saw the bowl assignment, and you're like, man, there's something special about his story. First down and 10 after the run by Arnold. Back on the ground with Gerald Green this time. As Georgia Southern, who runs a fast-paced, air-it-out offense, has to start thinking about the clock now. 6:15. There is Brian Ellis, the offensive coordinator. Down by 2 scores. Second down and 7. Ezra Archie couldn't squeeze it. Hit him right in the grill. Big hit from James Patterson.
Oh, he had him. You saw the urgency from Van Treese catching the football, get it out of his hands right now. Pretty quick 3-step drop and a little bit frustrated. Put the ball exactly where you wanted to put it, right there on the face mask of the receiver. I think you said it well, partner. 6 minutes to go, down 2 scores. The Buffalo offense that's moved the ball effectively in this game. You need to score, and I think you need to score the next 2 minutes.
3rd and 7. Incomplete. Right off the mitts of the freshman Dalen Cobb. And now 4th down and 7. What do you do if you're Clay Helton?
Yeah, I think you got to go for it here, and you know, definitely a catchable football. Ball's just a tad bit behind. Would love to see him put that on the front plate of the receiver, catch it, run, would have got the first down and maybe more after that. His opportunity, big play, needs to go to number 7, find a way to get him matched up.
4th down and 7. Van Treese throws. That is caught. Bo Johnson, the tight end, inside the 20. Whoa.
Man, that looked like a little bit of a prayer from Van Treese to throw it up there. Just said, man, it's 4th down. I got to get this ball up. I got to find a way to give my guy an opportunity to make a play, and heck of a catch by Bo Johnson, just making play after play after play this afternoon.
Look at the numbers. He came in with 4 catches for 77 yards all season. 5 for $118 in the bowl game. 1st down and 10. Georgia Southern getting fancy, right back to Van Treese. All that for 3 yards as Dalen Cobb threw it back to him.
See, I don't know if that's a play for Van Treese, to be honest. Just gonna throw it out there. Hey, listen, they got positive yards, so I guess you can call that a win, but not really the play that I'd be drawing up for my quarterback.
Across the 5-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. Gerald Green, the running back. Caleb Hood, the motion man. There's Hood on the screen from the slot inside the 15 of Buffalo to set up 3rd down and short. Damon Williams made the tackle. Georgia Southern trailing by 9. A field goal would make it a 1-possession game. But they're thinking touchdown. They fake it to Hood. Van Treese on the keeper, puts the shoulder down and picks up the 1st down. Right through his former teammate Sean Dolak, one of the best tacklers in the country.
It's that 2nd time we've seen that play on a 3rd and medium situation, which he pulled it, was able to get the 1st down. At the same time as the first one, Dolak making the tackle. Would love to just know if there's any trash talking going on throughout the football game between him and his old teammates.
And before the snap, false start against the Eagles.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's Pishon Wimbley, the lone youngster on this offensive line. You know, 6th year, a 5th year, a redshirt senior in his 6th year. And then you've got Wimbley, the only one recruited to play in this system. So 1st down and goal from the 13. Van Treese pumps, throws, McAfee's got it! Touchdown, Georgia Southern!
Well, I talk about the defense finding a way to slow down the pump fake, verticals on the outside. A little bit of a twist on this one. They're gonna motion through the jet sweep, and you see them fake it to Hood and then sneak out the big tight end / receiver to the outside on the wheel route. And man, did he look good going up there, high pointing that for the touchdown.
How about the drive? 13 plays, 90 yards, 5 minutes even. Rayner tacks on the extra point, and it's a 2-point game.
Well, we said they need to score. They need to score fast. Still 3 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock. They got their timeouts. The big tight end, McAfee. We got a 1-score game.
The Camellia Bowl is brought to you by TaxAct. File for less and get more. And Montgomery County Commission, a county older than the state.
You're looking at Freedom, mascot of the Georgia Southern Eagles, who trail by 2 against the Buffalo Bulls with 3:38 to play in the Camellia Bowl here in Montgomery, Alabama. Strap in. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Lawrence Sisler, thrilled to be here on what's turned into a beautiful day in the capital city. Chandler Baker calls for the fair catch. He'll set up UB at the 25-yard line as we step aside before Cole Snyder and company go back to work trying to salt this thing away.
Matt Berry back in our college football studio. Again, Seth Hennigan, Memphis, Utah State. We're going to kick that game over on ESPN2. We'll move it back here to ESPN when this game goes final. But again, Memphis, Utah State, Seth Hennigan, they will be over on ESPN2. We'll move back here to ESPN1 at the conclusion of this one.
All right, man, and it should be a good conclusion here at the Camellia Bowl. Cole Snyder and Buffalo take over up by 2 with 3:38 to play in the 9th annual Camellia Bowl. The first 7 of these were all decided by 1 possession, including wins for both Buffalo and Georgia Southern. We're tracking toward another today. Tajay Ahmed starts on the ground for UB, and Clay Helton calls a timeout right away. So the Georgia Southern coach uses his first one after a 2-yard gain. Justin Birdsong made the tackle. Fans, tune into the ESPN app for the Capital One postgame immediately following the conclusion here. Well, get to see who wins the Bart Starr MVP of this game. Bart Starr, Montgomery native.
Well, Kyle Van Treese has had himself an afternoon throwing the football, a lot of confidence. It's going to be interesting to see, depending on what obviously happens on the second down play. Do you trust him to go out there and possibly win this game with his arm on a third down situation? This is something that's going through the quarterbacks and the coach's mind right now as they set up the second down play. If we don't get it, what will be our best play for our quarterback? Where has he had success this afternoon making plays to get first downs on third down?
Second down and 9. Again, it's Ahmed, who's had a career day. Helton sprints to call the timeout as Marquez Watson-Trent makes another tackle to set up third down and long with 3:27 to go and 1 timeout remaining for the Eagles.
See, I think Cole's played well enough this game that I'm going to trust him on this right now and throw the ball down the field. I'm going to put Justin Marshall on one side, get him matched up one-on-one. If I get one-on-one, I'm going to take him. If not, Keon Williams in the slot has been great, especially with those deep out routes. And Cole's done a great job of throwing it on time, in rhythm, towards the outside. Catch, get down, get the first down. Give him 2 options. Cover 2, I'm working one side. Any kind of one, I'm going to my single receiver.
Here's our upcoming featured ESPN football lineup. Michigan takes on TCU, and Georgia squares off against Ohio State in the college football semifinal Saturday. Penn State and Utah face off in the granddaddy of them all Monday, and the Bills battle the Bengals in a big Monday Night Football matchup that's also on ABC, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN+. Justin Marshall has had the best game of his career. 10 catches for 118 and a touchdown. Keep an eye on number 1, bottom of your screen.
We got him, and then we got Keon in the slot to the right.
Buffalo will throw on third down and 7. Snyder rips it toward the sideline. What's the call? That is a catch. Justin Marshall moves the chains right on cue.
We knew where the ball was going. You want to go one-on-one and just give him. I don't get why you're giving him that much cushion. It's a third and medium situation. You got a DB backing up in coverage. Just got the ball out just in time, and I think it just goes to his route running. We illustrated a little bit earlier, but the way in which he runs his route and the burst off the line of scrimmage, making everything look like a go ball, threatening a DB, forcing him to get out of his back pedal.
The ruling on the field is a completed catch for a first down. The previous play is under further review.
So with 3 minutes exactly to play in this fourth quarter, as of now it's a catch for Justin Marshall. Was he out of bounds?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to see. Was his feet out of bounds when he was making the catch is the question. You know, clearly I don't think there's any kind of juggle with the football. It looks like he caught it.
Mo Linguist certainly thinks so. That's a head coach in the black sweatshirt.
Let's check his feet. Let's see if we can get a view of where his feet are when he makes the catch. to me, looked pretty good from those angles. I said, don't think we had any issue with a bobbling of the football. Looked like he was able to get 2 hands underneath it. So I forget, as it says right there, it was called a catch on the field as we take another look to see exactly where his feet were. That right foot looks like it's still in.
It's really, I mean, it'd be tough to overturn.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see with the ball as well. Tyler Bride was in coverage. Here comes the call from Luke Richmond.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a completed catch for a first down, Buffalo.
A lot of fans made the drive from Statesboro, and they disagree with the call. What a game for Justin Marshall. 11 catches, a $127, and a touchdown. The transfer from Louisville has come to Buffalo and balled out. Clock running with under 3 to play. Tight end Robbie Mangus in motion. They snap it with 2 on the timer, and they give it to Tajay Ahmed. Everyone in the house knew it was a run. They still gained 3.
I think Clay Helton will save this final timeout for most likely after this play, just in case they do decide to maybe throw it on 3rd down. I don't think so. I think we're, everyone in the building and on that staff for Buffalo, we're going to run the ball 2 more times, milk this thing, and if we have to, we'll punt this ball away. With probably very few seconds remaining on this clock.
Under 2 minutes now. Just the 1 timeout for Southern. Again, it's Ahmed. And again, it's a short gain, more powerful running. Helton uses his final timeout. After Anthony Wilson and Kadri Jackson made the tackle, that was the 26th carry for Tajay Ahmed, who had 1 all season before today. We'll step aside before a crucial 3rd down. Time for today's Capital One Player of the Game.
Yeah, Cole Snyder has been just tremendous, especially in money down situations, 3rd down situations, finding his receivers down the field, and then a little hurdle action too. But him and Marshall on the outside, then Keanu Williams in the slot, 21 of 38, that 1 touchdown, 265, get him to 3,000 passing yards this season, only the 3rd quarterback in Buffalo history to do so.
Here we go, trying to salt it away. Do you throw on 3rd down here?
Nope. You run it. You hope you get the first down and end this game. If not, you'll bleed the clock out and give Georgia Southern the football with less than a minute to go.
11 of 18 on 3rd down today. They keep it on the ground with Tajay Ahmed. Puts his head down. He might have it. The Bulls think he does. It'll depend on the spot. He is marked really close to the sticks.
Yeah, that's a first down.
That's a first down UB. What an effort from Tajay Ahmed.
You talk about fresh legs. We've seen it this entire game from Tajay Ahmed. We've seen it from this offensive line. We talk about players of the game. Units of the game is this offensive line. Run protection, pass protection, helping move the chains there along with the running back. Has to do a lot of injuries for this running back unit for Buffalo. He's come in and just had himself an afternoon running the football, taking care of the football, getting big times first downs, scoring in the red zone. It's been a great performance all in all for this offense.
Victory formation for Buffalo. Tajay Ahmed came in with 1 carry all season. His 27th iced it for UB.
Oh, you see him right now. First down wasn't there. He had to put his shoulder down, run through a couple defenders for Georgia Southern, and then just keep chugging. Was able to get the first down, close this thing out. 1 more kneel. They sent Buffalo to a 7-6 record, and that was the goal both these teams fought to get here. The goal was, can we end the year one up in the win column.
You're looking at the quarterback for Buffalo. Last time they won the Camellia Bowl in 2020. Kyle Van Treese was wearing the other uniform. Today, he comes up short. And Buffalo has won the 2022 Camellia Bowl for the second time in the last 3 seasons. The Bulls stand on top of the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery. Congratulations to Buffalo. They had to win in the last minutes against Akron just to get here, and they finished with a winning record in 2022. Your Camellia Bowl champions, the Buffalo Bulls. What a career for Kyle Van Treese. Comes up just short in the Camellia Bowl. Our final score here, Buffalo 23, Georgia Southern 21. You can watch the trophy ceremony on the ESPN app. For now, for our entire ESPN crew, led by Jeff Graham and Kevin Schenk, Lawrence Sisler, Aaron Murray, I'm Drew Carter saying so long from Montgomery. Let's head to Dallas for the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl, where Memphis is taking on Utah State.